decisive in dealing with the issues of flood, clearing structures and waterways to aid the free flow of surface runoffs as the rains continue to pour. The torrential rains have caused havoc, with building collapsing and several communities across the capital submerged. Speaking shortly after arriving from a state visit to Belarus, John Mahama is urging citizens to rally support for government as they work towards solving the perennial challenges.
I think government must be firm in doing what it has to do in order that we stop this perennial flood issue. Incidentally, this year too, the rains have been unusually heavy, and that is why we're seeing the extent of flooding into June. And so I've directed a task force, NADMO and all the others, to do a presentation to us. We're going to identify all the restricted waterways. And when they have done that, I'm giving the directive that they should go ahead and do what they have to do. And I hope that when we do that, all Ghanaians would understand that it is government's business to protect the safety of all of us.
That was the voice of President John Dramani Mahama. Now, after years of trial, conviction in absentia and extradition proceedings, the former Maslok boss, Sedina Tamaklo Ationu, is expected to begin a 10-year prison sentence for financial crimes immediately following her extradition to Ghana from the United States. Sedina Tamaklo Ationu's case has moved from the courtroom to enforcement, and her return to Ghana now shifts attention to how the state will execute her 10-year sentence, recover lost public funds, and send a stronger signal in the fight against corruption. A former Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Twayeboah, who was part in initiating the process for extradition from the United States following her sentence, is hopeful of her beginning her sentence soonest.
I was happy when I heard that she had been brought to Ghana, all because the whole process was started during the time that as the Deputy Attorney General and the official also are part of this matter point in time in prosecuting the matter. And so after securing the conviction and the sentence, the expectation was for her to come and serve the sentence. And so when I heard that she had been brought back to Ghana, I said, fine, that's how justice system works. Because she's been convicted and sentenced by the court, there should be a warrant committing her to prison. And so being a woman is under our law, she's supposed to undergo medical examination to see whether she's pregnant. If she isn't pregnant, she must commence her sentence immediately. She has no option to go home or go to any other place to the prison. The law says she can appeal, but that is not as of right now, because the time for appeal has long elapsed. If lawyers know what to do, if they're able to do what they are supposed to do and they go through it, and she's pursuing the appeal in court, she must pursue the appeal from the prison, because she's now a convict prisoner and must be in prison to pursue her appeal.
That was former Deputy Attorney General Alfred Twayeboah. The Komfo Anoche Teaching Hospital is expected to resume full operations this morning following the suspension of a 4-day strike by its doctors. Medical personnel at the facility had embarked on an indefinite industrial action to protest the suspension of the hospital's chief executive officer, Dr. Kwesi Baidu, and to highlight infrastructure, logistics, and working condition challenges affecting healthcare delivery. The strike disrupted services at the referral facility, leaving some patients stranded and forcing others to seek medical care elsewhere. The doctors have since suspended the action after what they described as fruitful engagements with stakeholders, including the intervention of the Asante Hene Otumfuo Tutu II. Ibrahim Abubakar reports. But we'll bring you that in our subsequent bulletins. Now, between 2023 and 2026, Ghana recorded more than 20 major boat and canoe accidents, resulting in nearly 80 deaths. Many of these tragedies occurred on the Volta Lake and other inland waterways, with investigations repeatedly pointing to overloading, the absence of life jackets, and poor safety enforcement as major causes. In response, the Ministry of Transport and the Ghana Maritime Authority have deployed 200 trained water safety guards to enforce safety regulations at key inland water transport routes across the country. The initiative has seen the deployment of 200 trained water safety guards to strategic inland water transport points across the country. Dr. Kamaldeen Ali is the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority.
For far too long, our inland waterways has been a source of anxiety with accidents that are otherwise preventable largely. As a regulatory body, the Ghana Maritime Authority is changing its narrative, recognizing that true safety of our people is paramount, and that if we do that, we are able to ensure the total development of this country.
That was the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Dr. Kamaldeen Ali. Now, some members of the Timber Product Retailers Association in Techiman have burned a forestry checkpoint. According to them, their action is to express their displeasure over what they describe as the unlawful collection of monies at some unauthorized checkpoints in the northern sector. According to representatives of the Timber Products Retailers Association in Techiman, they are subjected to systematic extortion despite possessing legally verified documentation for their shipments. Traders warn that if the situation remains unresolved after 2 weeks, the community could face further unrest. Alhaji Mohammed Abdullahi is their rep.
We load our trucks from timber market here, and the documents are prepared. When they are on the road, you get to Babato, you see a checkpoint there. From Babato, you go to Tamale, you see a checkpoint there. From Tamale, you get to Bolga, you see a checkpoint there. When you are branching to Boku, you get to Zabila, you see a checkpoint there. And all these checkpoints, what they usually tell us is that our particulars are not real. And these are the particulars that we've been using for so many long time. This is what we do to earn our future. This is what we do to feed our family. So please, Your Excellency, we are giving you from here to especially a week or 2 weeks. We want you to solve this problem for us.
That is Alhaji Mohammed Abdullahi. He is a rep for the Timber Product Retailers Association in Techiman. Before we head out, we take you to Parliament because the minority has accused the Sports Ministry of screening supporters in Ghana for sponsorship to attend the 2026 FIFA World Cup, despite a presidential directive to prioritize Ghanaians residing in the tournament's host countries. First Deputy Minority Whip has also alleged the majority MPs have been allocated 2 slots each for supporters and is demanding an urgent briefing from the sports minister on preparations for the tournament. Meanwhile, the minority has condemned what it describes as increasing heavy-handedness by security agencies' actions they deem as undermining freedom of expression in the country.
The minister responsible for youth and sports did not brief Parliament on anything. We don't know the preparation. We don't know where they are training. We don't know where they are camping. We don't know the budget. The ambassador to Canada have issued a statement saying that they are collating names of Ghanaian residents in Ottawa, in Canada, for them to support people for our match against Panama. How many tickets are they giving to the people in Toronto? Who pay for the tickets, and how much does the ticket cost?
He then alleged that government has allocated 2 slots to each majority MP for supporters who would be sponsored to attend the tournament.
At the moment, the supporters union were given 90 slots as part of their preparation towards the World Cup. The majority caucus, made up of 189 members, were given 2 slots each that they should bring people for them to be sponsored to the World Cup. If you go to verify it, if you go to the Botema Park, you'll see that people are there being screened.
To accuse the minister of having allocated, slots and etc., I think that is really not appropriate for him to state in this chamber.
Well, that's how we wrap up the morning news on 3FM 92.7. Please log on to our website, 3news.com, for more stories and more updates. My name is Christabel Success Treve. Business is up next on Sunrise. decline as budget transparency plunges to 22%. Also, Securities and Exchange Commission warns unlicensed social media content creators to desist from offering financial and investment advice.
There's a thin line between what they are doing and the license activity, which is investment advisory, which requires that you have a license from the SEC before you can do that.
Plus, government targets 50% LPG access by 2030 as NPA and Energy Ministry intensify push for clean cooking and expanded energy infrastructure.
One of the major complaints had to do with the LPG transporters complaining about constant harassment by security agencies, particularly in the Western Corridor.
I am Christabel Success Trevor. We'll bring you details of our headlines and our story shortly. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us here on 3FM. Now, Ghana's budget transparency score has plummeted from 46% in 2023 to 22% in 2025, falling significantly below the sub-Saharan African average of 38%. According to the latest open budget survey by the International Budget Partnership, the following 3 Business News Desk reports has more.
The independent report attributed the sharp decline to several delays by the executive in publishing critical online documents, including the executive's budget proposal, the citizens' budget, and inconsistent in-year reports. While the survey highlighted marginal progress in public participation up to 22%, and institutional oversight up to 33%, civil society organizations Send Ghana warned that the overarching lack of openness heavily restricts citizens from tracking public spending and holding state entities accountable. To rectify the trend, the International Budget Partnership recommends immediate online publishing reforms and the establishment of an independent, non-partisan fiscal institution to strengthen weak parliamentary oversight.
Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission says it is taking steps to regulate the provision of investment advice, particularly on social media, warning that such services should only be offered by licensed professionals. The regulator says the growing trend of content creators providing investment guidance online poses potential risk to the public, especially where advice is given without the requisite expertise or regulatory approval. Speaking to the media, the Deputy Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mensah Thompson, said only individuals and entities licensed by the Commission are authorized to offer investment advice. He urged unlicensed persons to refrain from presenting themselves as investment advisors, stressing that the move is aimed at protecting investors and safeguarding the integrity of Ghana's capital markets.
It's something that we are discussing to see how we deal with it, because we acknowledge that these people are helping bring publicity and attention to the capital market. They are helping educate the public. But there's a thin line between what they are doing and the license activity, which is investment advisory, which requires that you have a license from the SEC before you can do that. And so we're trying to think of how to come up with a set of rules that will define the clear lines between advocacy and investment advisory. Then we'll see what sort of framework we'll put in place so that people who genuinely want to engage in publicity, influencing, or advocacy in the capital market space can be properly guided.
That was Deputy Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mensah Thompson there. Government says it is stepping up efforts to increase the use of liquefied petroleum gas across the country, with the target of ensuring that at least half of Ghanaians have access to LPG by 2030. Authorities believe increased private sector investment in storage and transportation infrastructure, alongside ongoing policy interventions, will help accelerate the country's transition to cleaner cooking fuels.
According to Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Godwin Edujitamaklo, investments in new LPG vessels and storage facilities, coupled with the implementation of the cylinder recirculation model, will strengthen the downstream petroleum sector and improve access to clean cooking fuel. He adds that the NPA remains committed to ensuring the safe regulation, monitoring and distribution of petroleum products across the country.
Over the course of the rest of the year, NPA, in collaboration with stakeholders, will undertake a series of activities, including nationwide public education campaigns. One of the major complaints had to do with the LPG transporters complaining about constant harassment by security agencies, particularly in the Western Corridor. So we had to go and engage the Western security commanders, particularly the police leadership, on how best to help resolve that constant harassment.
Meanwhile, Executive Director at the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSI, Benjamin Nsia, is calling on government to introduce targeted incentive packages for investors to boost liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) penetration across underserved areas in Ghana.
We think that to be able to increase the penetration, there could be some form of subsidy for rural LPG users, especially households with lower income. They may need to have some subsidies, and incentives must also be provided to investors and business persons who may want to put out cylinder exchange points and other LPG refilling plants across on-access areas or areas that do not have LPG infrastructure. I think that is so critical for us to be able to penetrate properly. And lastly, at SEMSA, we also think that LPG needs more promotion. There's lack of awareness of its importance, and the lack of knowledge among certain populations in Ghana is the reason people continue to use wood fuel or other bio-related fuel that do have health and environmental impact.
Benjamin Nsia is Executive Director at SEMSI. We'll now take a look at how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some of key commodities are also faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 78 pesos. It lost 5 pesos. The British pound is selling at 15 cedis, 75 pesos. It lost 5 pesos. The euro is selling at 13 cedis, 59 pesos. It also lost 7 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. The global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $91.49 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,267.34 per ounce, down by $62.83. Cocoa is trading at $3,831 per ton.
That'll be all for business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. I am Christabel Success Trevor. The rest of the Sunrise team are on standby. Don't go away.
Finest tunes in sync with a soothing voice. 3 Lounge with AJ.
Are you tired of the same old routine? Need a break from the stress and chaos of everyday life? Well, step into the
for development. Residents are reeling under this situation. Currently, many homes have been flooded. In this vicinity, for instance, a landlord has channeled floodwaters directly to his neighbor's house, flooding it completely. Some residents trapped for days. This family tells me that water level has even receded before the news team's arrival. With a bucket and a cup, they spent the whole time scooping water constantly from their bedroom. But beyond the flood situation, the existence of improper drainage channels and the non-availability of same in some localities have contributed to the messy situation in the Wejagbawe municipality. Where gutters are available, they are too narrow, unable to contain runoff that flows through them, thereby overflowing and deluging homes. Previous downpour tumbled down walls, destroyed open drains, and now eroding foundation of buildings. Residents are concerned about the human-induced flooding.
Dam na chekwa kakra o. Na nso sese nso atoyi, awura manfo bebre de ma momoto afirifi o. Omu nyina anko single room we wo de obie ne wotim. Nso ne the window level. Ba matna more than 11 years. Me hu say bi da.
Stephen Yeboah desealed gutters after the day's rain.
I had a senator there higher power. If we top or basse, the tumble way gate nasi. Now I could feel now. Because of gutter no 1 year minty. And soon as a gutter and young man, and they push it back up. I have the end to me could be meant to say a word a fair fee.
As contaminated water continued to find its way into homes, with each downpour, public health concerns should remain a priority for state institutions. Addressing
So this morning I'm here to tell you that smile even though it is tough. Not because you are pretending that everything is fine. Do not have problems, but because life has suddenly become easy. No. Smile because sometimes that is how we remind ourselves that we are still standing. A smile can be quiet courage. It can be strength in the middle of pressure. It can be a small way of saying, I am tired, but I am not giving up. It can be your own little rebellion against a difficult day. So this morning, wherever you are, in traffic or at home, if you're at work, you're in school, or you are in the market, or maybe you're still preparing to step out, give yourself that grace. Smile at yourself. Smile at someone else. Smile at the person who struggled you may never know. Because sometimes the smile you give is the hope that someone needs. And while we smile, we do not ignore the realities around us. Former Maslock boss Sedina Tamaklo Atienu, she is back in Ghana. And the conversation about justice, accountability, and public funds, it is on the table. There's a few things from the awards as well. Yeah, the Minister Awards. The Konfanote Teaching Hospital. Doctors have suspended their strike after Otumfo's intervention. It is bringing relief to many patients and families, even as deeper questions remain about pressure on our healthcare system. We have all of these lined up and a lot more for you this morning. On Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to the program. We're live until we hit 10 o'clock this morning. And of course, we're doing this with you. We'd love to hear from you on our social media pages, 3FM 927. Let us know what you think about any of the stories that we will be talking about. Because as Ghana remains interesting, there's always a lot to talk about. So this morning, I'll kick off the paper review with the Custodian newspaper. The front page, it says, "What is presidential about them?" Kwesi Pratt questions credentials of NDC aspirants. And that's on page 3 of the paper. Morning declared DACF payments to MPs illegal. Ghanaian citizen to Supreme Court. On page 3 of the paper, it comes with the pictures of Dinah Asunabadapa, lawyer for applicant, and Dr. Yao Trifo, an applicant in this case. World Cup 2026 kicks off tomorrow. On page 11 of the Custodian newspaper, Land Minister launches small-scale mining scheme. On page 6 of the paper, waste managers urge sustainable funding for Accra sanitation. On page 5 of the paper, you go to the back page of the Custodian newspaper, and this is the story that you'd find. Government revises 2026 oil revenue target to $1.5 billion. Also, Mahama signs major agricultural deal with Belarus. And Ghana's budget transparency score drops to 22% in 2025 global survey. These are some of the stories you'd find if you get the Custodian newspaper this morning. Away from the Custodian newspaper is the News Center paper. This morning it says, after Sedina Oforiata, Dr. Yeni heads to Washington for deal to exchange him for Ghanaians wanted by USA. That's on page 2 of the paper, and it comes with the pictures of Sedina Tamaklu Atiunu, convicted ex-CEO of Maxlock, extradited from the USA to Ghana. Also, the picture of Dr. Dominic Ayeni, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Get the details on page 2 of the paper. Also, Supreme Court asked to stop DACF transfers to MPs. JHS graduate, another drown in Twifo at Timokwa Rivers. That's on page 8 of the paper. Also, the front page of the News Center, Public Leadership, Ethics, Accountability, and Ministers Awards. On page 10 of the News Center paper. Wishes and dreams will not move AI forward in Africa. On page 9 of the News Center paper. Let's now visit the New Finder newspaper. The front page says bond market turnover rebounds to 1.62 billion cedis. Greater Accra waste could hit 5,100 tons daily by 2036. That's on page 4. That's quite disturbing. It wouldn't have been disturbing if we were able to channel or recycle or reuse all the waste that will produce by 2036. Which is expected to hit 5,100 tons daily. If we could reuse them, it would have been great. Also, the front page of the New Finder newspaper, consistent policies will drive food sufficiency in Ghana, according to an expert, and non-traditional exports hit $5 billion. BOG's FX interventions helped stabilize market pressures, according to an analyst there. I'll take you to Ghana's favorite newspaper, The Daily Guide. This morning on its front page, minority condemns arrest of NPP members. On page 3 of the paper, Afarinik distributes 400,000 free cocoa seedlings to Volta region farmers. U.S. extradites ex-Maslock boss to serve 10-year jail term. On page 3 of The Daily Guide newspaper, Rambo teacher caged for assaulting female student. On page 6, it comes with a picture of a suspect assaulting his victim. You've seen that video all over social media about a teacher who was seen fighting with a female student. We'll get the detail as well in the show this morning. Charles Bisu case, court rejects portions of OSP key witness testimony on page 6 of the paper. Finally, this morning, the Ghanaian Times newspaper says over 4,000 drivers denied licenses after mandatory eye test last year. According to the DVLA, comes with a picture of Julius Nikwe Kwate, the chief executive of the Driving Vehicle Licensing Authority. Government offers tax incentives for factories outside Accra. On page 13, ex-Maslock CEO extradited to serve 10-year jail term. You'd find that story on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. GMA distributes 20,000 life jackets, deploys 200 guards. This is pushed to end deaths on inland waters. You go to the back page. Waste management needs sustainable financing. And COCMA is the Kwale Klote Municipal Assembly. Target investors with new business firm. These are the stories that you find on the front and the back pages of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. We have details of the 4,000 drivers who have been denied licenses after mandatory eye test last year on page 12, and that's the center spread of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Like you may also be aware already this morning, there's some good news coming from the Ashanti region. The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association says the nurses decided to suspend their industrial action after receiving assurances from key stakeholders, including the Asantehene and the board of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. And the decision follows growing tensions at CATH after the suspension of the hospital's chief executive officer, Dr. Pakwesi Beidu, amid public concerns over the facility's worsening bed shortages and congestion. The development has sparked outrage among sections of health workers, leading to industrial action by nurses in the Ashanti region. So there's some intervention, and now we understand that the strike action has been called off. While we talk about that, the Ashanti Regional Chairman is also saying that no one should be punished for the recent bed capacity crisis that sparked national concern. This morning, we're crossing over to my colleagues in the Ashanti region to update us on what the situation there now is. We know how important the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, how critical that facility is to healthcare delivery, quality healthcare delivery in and around the Ashanti region. And I should tell you that it serves more than the Ashanti region. Over 9 regions depend heavily on the Ashanti region, on the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. So what was happening when the doctors were on strike, you cannot ignore it. But the good news is that we now have some finality to the situation. But let's cross over to Ibrahim Abubakar from the Ashanti region to update us on what the situation now is. Ibrahim, good morning to you. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Crosby. I'm doing great.
Good to know. How is the Ashanti region doing today? The doctors and nurses at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, they are back at work?
Exactly, they are. It's good news for patients who go to Komfo-Anokye to access medical care. Yesterday, we gauged the situation there, and it was quite serious because people had come all the way from other regions and even as far as Mansunkra, which is more than 3 hours drive from Kumasi to that community, just so they will be able to access medical care at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, only to be told that doctors and nurses are on strike. Others had to seek alternative elsewhere. Others also told me yesterday that they will have to sleep there because they cannot go back to their destination without receiving the necessary medical care. So there was this 68-year-old man I spoke to, and he said he's going to buy a mat in town so that he will be sleeping there until the doctors resume. For him, it came as a good news, especially in the evening when the doctors called off their strike. So hopefully he will be attended to this morning. In fact, like I said, the doctors and nurses have resumed their services, full one, and for that matter, it's kind of excitement for all those who are seeking medical treatment. In fact, even from yesterday evening, some of the doctors and nurses began work. Like I said yesterday, even though they were on strike, but for emergency cases, they were attending to them. But for new and cases that are quite manageable, they asked them to go to other health facilities or go home and return somewhere next week. So that's the situation here. For the doctors, the intervention has come at the right time. Yesterday, I also told you that the suspended CEO was at Confanochi and he was still engaging with the doctors to resume full services. So I'm sure all those played a role in bringing the doctors back, but they are still committed to pushing government to ensure that it operationalizes the regional hospital, which is a 250-bed, and also the 500-bed Afari military hospital, and also provide some logistics and also some retooling to the Confanochi Teaching Hospital for them to be able to provide effective or quality healthcare delivery for those who will be coming.
I see. Let's talk about the interventions that came from the various stakeholders as to what efforts they made to arrive at this very important decision where the doctors have suspended the industrial action as well as the nurses. Which stakeholders are we talking about here, mainly, and what did they tell them?
So, key among the stakeholders was from Menchia, that's the Asantino Otumfo said to the second, even though he's not in the country at the moment, but the information we had was that he placed a call and he also sent a delegation to Confanochi to engage with the doctors. Then we had the regional minister going back. Mind you, on Sunday, he was at Confanochi to engage with the doctors on the need for them to resume operations. In fact, after the meeting, he came out to grant an interview that everything is in place and he's just waiting on the various health unions to come out with a statement. And then some few minutes after the meeting, we also saw a press statement from the health ministry. And that, according to the doctors, even leadership of the doctors were engaged, they said that statement even made them decide not to rescind the decision because everything was in place for them. So on Monday, he had to go back to them to engage them. Then, like I said, the Asantini also sent a delegation. Then the suspended CEO himself also went there and engaged the doctors to tell them to resume services so that whilst efforts are also being taken to resolve all those impacts. So these key stakeholders played a critical role in ensuring that the health professionals resume their services.
I see. Do you know what then becomes of the suspended CEO?
Well, as we speak, he's still on suspension. He comes to the facility though, because if you read the statement, they said he's been suspended as the CEO, but not as a medical doctor. So he can come and do his normal doctor work, but for leading administrative work, which makes him the CEO, that's where he will not be able to venture. So as we speak, he's still on suspension. We don't know whether that suspension will be reversed or he will still have to go through the 2 weeks. But since the one who is suspended has asked him to go back to work, I'm sure they had to listen to him as also their leader of the facility. So he's around. He says he will still be working as a doctor. Nothing has changed, and he is just hoping for the best for the hospital.
Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us with those details. We're grateful.
Thank you.
3FM Sunrise.
And of course, I have with me the statement coming from the Konfanoche Doctors Association. And that has to do with the suspension of the industrial action. I read to you excerpts of the statement, and this is what it says. The Konfanoche Doctors Association wishes to inform the general public that the industrial action embarked upon by its members has been suspended with effect from today, 9th June 2026 at 6 p.m. So this means yesterday at 6 p.m. And this decision has been made following fruitful engagement with a timely intervention of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the hospital board, management, and other key stakeholders who have demonstrated commitment towards addressing the concerns that led to the industrial action. While the association remains committed to ensuring that the issues that occasion the strike are fully resolved, we have carefully considered the potential impact of the prolonged action on patient care and public health. The safety and well-being of patients and the broader public interest remain central to our responsibilities, and these have informed our decision to suspend the action and continue the dialogue. The association expresses its profound gratitude to Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the board, management, and all stakeholders for their efforts in facilitating dialogue and fostering a path towards an amicable resolution of the outstanding issues. We are particularly grateful to the National Executive Council and membership of the Ghana Medical Association for its unwavering support and intervention in this important matter. We express our deepest appreciation to Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Emergency Medicine Society of Ghana, Orthopedic Association of Ghana, the Health Services Workers Union, the Konfanoche Certified Registered Anesthetists Association, the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, and the Konfanoche Pharmacists Association for the strong solidarity demonstrated in this action. And this is to all doctors and other health workers. We are grateful for your support. So that's the good news. The doctors have returned to work at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. So if you go there this morning, you see a number of patients there already. And yesterday, just like our reporter confirmed, people were deciding to sleep there because they didn't have any alternative. So the strike action has been suspended. That's the news for you. Well, this is very, very good news. Let's turn our attention to this. You know why the doctors embarked on the strike? The suspension of a CEO. Because of the closure, if you like, of the accident and emergency unit of the hospital. And that happened also because of the number of patients they were receiving. So they said that they were getting too many patients. The facility was built to house 37 patients. They had over 61 with 40 others waiting to come in. So the hospital decided to suspend services at the accident and emergency unit. When that happened, that was contrary to a directive from the president that came after the Charles Emisa demise over lack of births or medical negligence, whatever you want to call it. So now that they are back, have we turned our attention to solving the core problem? What brought about all of this? Have we decided to solve it? Yes, the doctors are back, the nurses are back, the facility is operational. What happens again if the facility is overwhelmed? I'm only asking, what happens again if the facility is overwhelmed? If the accident and emergency unit, if they are not able to take care of the patient because they are overwhelmed? Because again, they have finite resources. If now that we're talking, if the accident and emergency unit in the coming days, they have over 150 patients to deal with, over 200 patients to deal with, and they cannot do that, so they decide to suspend again. Or this time they will not suspend, but they will bring all the patients on board and it will affect the quality of care they give to all the patients. Then what problem have we really solved? That is the question that I'm asking this morning. Again, it is good news that they are back, but there is a core problem. There is a fundamental need to do something about something. Has that been done? Are we committed to doing that? Because again, if we do not pay attention to what brought about all of the suspension of the CEO and then the strike action by the doctors in solidarity to the suspended CEO, the nurses also joining, if we don't tackle the fundamental problem, then this is bound to happen again. That's the news this morning. If you go to the Komfo Teaching Hospital this morning, you would find everybody working because everything has come to an end nicely after the intervention of the Asantehene Otumfuo Sechitu II, some other stakeholders. But if you read the statement from the Doctors Association, and of course, deservedly so, the name of Otumfuo Sechitu II has been highlighted and boldened. We'll touch on it briefly this morning during the big conversation segment. But also happening in the country is the arrival of Sedina Tamaklo Ationu. She has been extradited to face justice, and the state is expected to execute the 10-year sentence to recover funds as well. This morning we'll spend a lot of time on this subject. The U.S. Embassy in Ghana yesterday on their Facebook page, this is what they said, that justice has no borders. The United States has extradited Sedina Tamaklo Ationu to Ghana following her conviction on 70-plus corruption-related charges, including embezzling more than $6 million equivalent in Ghanaian taxpayer funds. It says this is our strong U.S.-Ghana law enforcement partnership in action, demonstrating a shared commitment to accountability and the first extradition from the United States to Ghana since 2009. And yesterday, I put together a report that details the journey so far. That talks about what happened when the trial began, when Sedina Ationu decided to go to the U.S. to seek medical care, and then when she decided not to come back into the country. And now that she has arrived, what the expectation is. If that report is ready, let's play that. Join us on Facebook, 3FM927. It comes with some interesting graphics as well to explain to you in detail everything you need to know about this Sedina Ationu, convicted former Maslock CEO extradition. Take a listen to the report now.
For years, the name Sedina Tamaklo Ationu has been tied to one of Ghana's most high-profile corruption prosecutions. Now, the former Maslock Chief Executive Officer is back in Ghana, not to continue her trial, but to serve a sentence already handed down by the Accra High Court. She arrived at Accra International Airport on Tuesday, June 9, aboard United Airlines flight UA996 after departing from the United States. Officials of the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana Prison Service are said to have taken her into custody with the necessary administrative, security, and medical processes underway before she formally begins serving her sentence. On April 16, 2019, Sedina Tamaklo and Daniel Axim, a former chief operating officer of Maslock, were charged by the Attorney General. The two were accused of misappropriating public funds during Sedina's tenure as Maslock Chief Executive Officer between 2013 and 2016. The funds were meant to support Maslock operations, small businesses, loan beneficiaries, and vulnerable groups. But prosecutors said they were diverted, misapplied, or not properly accounted for. In 2021, Sedina Tamaklo was granted permission by the High Court to travel abroad for medical reasons. But she did not return to Ghana to continue the trial. That decision became a major turning point in the case because the court later proceeded to try her in absentia. Her co-accused, Daniel Axim, remained in Ghana and participated in the proceedings. On April 16, 2024, the Accra High Court convicted Sedina Tamaklo Ationu on multiple counts, including causing financial loss to the state, stealing, conspiracy to steal, money laundering, and breaches of the Public Procurement Act. She was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment with hard labor. Daniel Axim was also convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in hard labor. The court held that the offenses caused the state a financial loss of about 90 million cedis. Among the transactions cited were funds meant for a sensitization exercise for Maslock beneficiaries, money linked to support for victims of a market fire disaster, and procurement deals involving vehicles and mobile phones, which the court found had been inflated. After the conviction, Ghana began the process to bring Sedina Tamaklo Ationu back home to serve a sentence. In July 2024, the Attorney General submitted a formal extradition request to the United States. This moved the case from a domestic corruption trial into an international legal process involving Ghanaian authorities, United States law enforcement agencies, and the U.S. courts. On January 6, 2026, U.S. Marshals arrested Sedina Tamaklo Ationu in Nevada. She was detained while the extradition proceedings continued. That arrest confirmed that Ghana's request had moved beyond diplomatic paperwork into enforcement action. On April 12, 2026, a United States District Court in Nevada certified Ghana's request for Sedina Tamaklo Ationu's extradition. The court found that the extradition treaty between Ghana and the United States was valid and enforceable. The court then committed her into the custody of the United States Marshals Service, pending the final surrender process. Now, on June 9, 2026, Sedina Tamaklo Ationu arrived in Ghana. According to the United States Embassy in Ghana, her extradition relates to a conviction on more than 70 corruption-related charges involving the embezzlement of more than $6 million equivalent in Ghanaian taxpayer funds. The embassy says the extradition reflects the strong law enforcement partnership between Ghana and the United States. It also says this is the first transfer of a fugitive from the United States to Ghana since 2009. For Ghana, this case is bigger than the return of one former public official. It raises questions about accountability. What remains now is a formal transfer into custody of the Ghana Prison Service, any legal steps the lawyers may take, and the wider issue of asset recovery. Noble Crosby, Annan, TV3.
Tamaklo went. And then she did not return to Ghana to continue the trial. The court then proceeded to trial her in absentia. That means that the case continued without her physically present in court. 2 years ago, April 16, 2024, High Court convicted her and sentenced her to 10 years imprisonment with hard labor. But that story did not end there. It did not end with a conviction because she was still in the United States. So Ghana had to begin processes to bring her back home to serve a sentence. And that is when the extradition process started. After a lot of back and forth, a U.S. District Court in Nevada later cleared the way for her extradition in April 2026 after reviewing Ghana's request and supporting legal documents. So now the biggest development is that she has been extradited to Ghana. She arrived on Tuesday, June 9, was taken into custody, and reports say she was undergoing the necessary administrative, security, and medical processes before formally beginning her sentence. Let's have a conversation on the back of this and speak to a private legal practitioner, John Baptist Ayeji, also a law lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. Counsel, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Crosby, and then thank you for having me, and good morning to your listeners as well.
We know how this case has traveled from the accusations leveled against her to the trial in absentia to processes to bring her back home into Ghana to now serve her sentence. Now that Madame Sedina Tamaklo Atiunu is back, what do we need to know?
Well, in respect of criminal procedure, what one needs to know is the different stages that someone who is accused of having committed a crime is to be taken through. And then, we have like 3 stages mainly. The first one has to do with the conviction. So for you to be convicted or acquitted, so it could be either convicted or acquitted. For you to be convicted or acquitted, you have to be taken through the criminal processes, including the trial, leading of evidence, and then based on the offense, there are some that we say you go through what we call summary trial. That's a straightforward one. And then we have another one that you go through trial on indictment. And those ones are mainly for serious offenses such as murder and the rest. Good. So after you've been taken through this process, then the court will determine whether or not the prosecution has been able to prove your guilt or otherwise. So when it comes to this one, there are only 2 outcomes. Either you are acquitted or you are convicted. So if you are acquitted, then that's it. The system ends. But if you are convicted, then you move to the next stage, which is the sentencing. So it's a different process altogether, and there's rules and laws regulating how a court can sentence an accused person. Discretion is given to the judges, but the law makes some provision on how many years you can give to them based on the offense. I'm sure by now we should know that when it comes to offense, we have different offenses. We have misdemeanor, they are the petty offenses. We have first-degree felony, second-degree felony, and the rest. Good. And the law provides how many years. So now the judge will have to go through that process of determining how many years should be given to you as you are convicted. Most courts may do it immediately. Others may adjourn for you to come back another time for the court to determine how many years you should be given. So that's the second stage. And then the third stage is for you to be given to another service, the prison service, for you to serve your jail term. So that's the third stage. So yes, these are the processes that, the basic ones that one needs to understand when it comes to criminal procedure and how it ends.
I see. Now that she has arrived in Ghana, does she immediately begin serving the 10-year sentence, or there are further legal processes before prison custody fully begins?
Yes, there are other legal processes. Number one, what we need to understand is that every judgment of a court is appealable. So there are processes available to her, and then there are processes available to the state as well. So let me deal with the processes available to her first. So she has a right of appeal, so she can appeal her sentences. However, there are times limits to that. When you've been convicted, you've been sentenced, you have 30 days to file an appeal and all that. But the law allows what you call, you can make an application for extension of time. That's when you have exceeded the time, you are out of time. Then you can't just go as a matter of right. So you have to plead to the court. In this case, you have to explain to the court why you didn't do that within the 30 days that was given to you by law. And the court will determine whether or not they should allow you to appeal. Most courts will allow you. Good. So, and these are the rights given to the convicted person. And then within that time, she can even make an application for bail, for her to be granted bail, to be given bail while the appeal proceedings are ongoing. The law allows that. But I must add that most courts are very reluctant to allow you to be granted bail. So they will really look into the matter and see that there's a likelihood for you to be granted bail. From my experience, I have had only few times that a court has agreed with me. Most of the time, they will disagree and all that. But again, these are rights that are given to her under our laws, and she can explore them. Good. But there's other rights or processes given to the state, and this one is gender specific. When a person is sentenced, if the person is a woman, the law allows the state to go through 4 processes before the person is sent to jail. Number one, you must do pregnancy test. So the court or the state must ascertain whether or not the lady is pregnant. And if the lady is pregnant, there's a different provision, because the law does not think it's fair to send a pregnant woman with unborn child, who is innocent, to jail. So there are provisions when the result is positive, the pregnancy test, when it's positive. So they will allow you not to serve the jail terms, wait for you to give birth and all those things. Good. So because she's a woman, and well, I'm not too sure of her age. We know pregnancy it has to do with age limit and all those things. But mostly, that's what the law provides, that the state must take us through the pregnancy test, and the state must ascertain her record as well. Because when you are being sent to jail, you are sent to jail for a specific time. So the court must have all the records and put everything in place so that either you are not released earlier than when you're supposed to be released, or you are not, you don't exceed the time that has been given to you. In my practice, I've seen some who have exceeded because of maybe record not being kept well and all those things. So these are some of the processes that the state will have to go through with the prisons in connection with the court system, and for them to put all these things in place before they finally send the person to jail. But when these processes are being taken, you are not a free person. You are not a free man or a free woman. They will still keep you in custody. And mostly when someone is sentenced, the person is not sent to jail straight. They will send you to the police station. They will keep you there for a while for all these processes to finish before the state will decide even which prison to send you to, if the court has not determined that.
So if we're going through these administrative and medical as well as security processes, how long do these processes usually last?
No, we don't have a specific time within which those processes should last. Like the court, the law does not say that it should happen within 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. So it varies on the processes. So some may have quicker, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 3 weeks. But there's no specific time that one can take.
As we go through that process, what happens to Madam Tamaklo?
Yes, what happens is that one, she must be in custody, because once a court has determined your fate and declared that you should go to jail, no freedom for you until a court or another court determine otherwise.
Right.
So here is not a case where you go home and be waiting for those processes to finish. No, you are going to custody straight for these processes to be taken.
If you say custody, what exactly do you mean?
When you say custody, you are retained. Either you go to the police station,
okay,
and then you are retained at the police station, or you can be retained at the prison custody. But you don't have your freedom to moving around.
Okay.
You are detained.
So she was sentenced convicted in 2024, April 2024, 10 years. 2 years after she's back in the country. Is she expected to spend the same 10 years in prison?
Yeah, sentencing starts the day you enter the jail or the day you enter the prison, not the day the court has sentenced you. So as at now, she has not started serving her 10 years. So the day she will be handed over to the prison system, the time will start from there.
And we know that the prison system, they calculate years differently. Talk to us about that as well.
Yes. In the prison system, we don't have the 12 months as 1 year. So they knock off 3 months. So usually they do their math, and then they will knock off those 3 months, and that's how it's be counted. So we always pray that when the court is sentencing an accused person, the court takes it in years than in months. If the court says that I'm sentencing you to, let's say, 12 or 24 months, it means that you go in for these 24 months. But if the court says that I'm sentencing you to 2 years, you see that you not go for the 2 years. You not go for 24 months, but you go for 24 months minus 6. So that's how the sentencing system works when it comes to jail system.
I see. So is expected that you could spend about 8 years based on what you're telling us?
Yes, that's correct.
I see. Let's go to the extradition conversation then. How long it took? It appears it took a very long time, maybe based on the technicalities and legalities of extradition between countries. Now that she is in the country, what happens to the people that U.S. also wants extradited to the U.S. and people that Ghana wants extradited into Ghana?
Right. These extradition processes, mostly they are political. They are legal and political. But one may say, and the person would be right, to say that it's more political than even legal, because the politicians can decide not to. Good. And most of the times, as I'm sure you know, countries don't have friends, they have interests. So most countries will allow you to do ABCD and then get something in return. You and I, we are not informed, or we are not privy to the terms, but there are always terms and conditions. Say that, okay, I will allow you to give this, and then you give me this in return. So because we are not privy to the terms and the conditions under which she was retained, we may not be able to state categorically what will happen to either others or those here that the U.S. want extradited. But what I can say for sure is that it just doesn't come because it's a political matter more than legal. There are always terms and conditions. The terms could be that, okay, we are giving you this. In return, you give us A, B, C, D. Or we are giving you this. In return, next time you allow us to do A, B, C, D. So there are always terms and conditions, but we are not privy to them. So we can't really speak to it.
Okay. Away from that, then, is the request or the demand or the conversations about asset recovery, about retrieving the money or some of the money. And we've seen that as a strategy that the current Attorney General is employing. How do we go about it? Is it possible that, or is it feasible to think that we can attempt to recover some of the monies, the over 90 million cedis? Is it possible to think that?
What people need to understand, and I've seen a lot of people make a mistake in respect of that once you send someone to jail, or once you decide to take someone through a criminal process, the outcome is either the person is sent to jail or the person is set free. However, a court can make additional adders. So these two are the main outcomes. But a court can decide that, okay, based on the fact, you will still go to jail, but you pay X amount of money. I did a case where it's the same thing. I pleaded with the court. The court said, okay, I will still send you to jail, but I'm asking you to pay this amount of money. And usually when the court asks you to pay an amount of money, it could be, number one, it could be to the state, or it could be to the complainant. So this one is for ordinary complainant. But in this case, it's the state. We are dealing with the state. So the point I'm making is that it's not just cut in stone. And that once a court convicts someone of stealing money, it means that we'll go for the money. No, unless a court makes that specific orders. Because the punishment for stealing the money is the jail term that the person is serving. If you want the money, you can go through a civil action. And that's what most people forget. Because the state could go through a civil action, and then the civil court will rule in favor of the state for the money. Then the state will go for the money. If she doesn't have the money, the state will go for asset and everything. But if the state decides to go through a criminal means, so mostly what it means is that the state wants to send you to jail. However, as stated earlier, the court can give additional orders by saying that, okay, you refund this amount of money as well. So based on this specific case, if such orders are not made, then we are not getting anything. But if the court has made those specific orders, that she should pay some money, she should pay an amount of money or refund the money, then the court, the state now will have to use those orders to go after those money. And those ones, the state need not to even wait to get it before, start those processes. The state could have made those processes without even here in custody, because they are different orders.
I see. Interesting. Counsel, thank you so much. If there's anything else, we'll get back to you.
You're welcome. God bless. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day too. Lawyer John Baptist Zayeje is a private legal practitioner and a law lecturer at UPSA. This is not me playing it, it's DJ Phil who's playing a song. So Sadina Tamaklo is back in Ghana to begin serving his sentence after her conviction in the Maxlock case. The United States has handed her over, and now many Ghanaians are saying, thank you, America. Since your plane knows its way to Ghana, we beg you, please check whether the former finance minister, Kenneth Ferretta, is also ready for boarding, and bring him back also into the country. But the thing is, Sedina's case is different from Kenneth Ferretta's own, because she had already been convicted and then sentenced. And her extradition was to bring her back to serve that sentence. Kenneth Ferretta's case is still at the stage of service and extradition processes. So although a lot of people are expecting Kenneth Ferretta to also come to Ghana, we know that the extradition conversation, sometimes it is more political than legal. Well, it is legal too as well. Remember that this may or may not be some form of a barter trade or reciprocal engagement. If I have brought you one of your own, then bring me one of my own. If I have brought you one of the people you are looking for, then give me one of the people I'm looking for. That that is it could be a reality. So US says that. What if the US says that I've given you said not, I also want somebody to give me that person. What happens? You know that diplomacy, it is never very innocent. Interest everywhere. Once the US has cooperated with Ghana by returning Sedna, Ghanaian citizens, we should naturally expect the same energy when Ghana is asking for Keno Furata. And if the US too may begin to expect Ghana to cooperate in perhaps the Abu Trika matter, you never know. We're not calling it a trade, but in international relations, everybody keeps receipts. In international relations, reciprocity is there. It is a subtle reality. You do me as I do you, in all the good sense it comes with. But now that Sedina is back, what happens? There are various avenues available to her legal team to maneuver, maybe circumvent, maybe find a way. Eyes are watching. And yesterday when news broke that she was back into the country, if you visit social media, you would notice a lot of comments. A lot of them are warnings. Warnings to the government of Ghana. And I'll find a few of them and read to you what people are saying. And it has to do with some assumptions some Ghanaians have. Listen to this comment. This is from Gabriel Kwabla Awuye. Says, what's about former finance minister? When is he also coming to Ghana? If the government can do this, what's going on with the finance minister, Keno Furiata? And this is from Awal Bin Ishak on Facebook. This is what he says. He says, grab your popcorn and mark my words. They are either going to fast-track a presidential pardon or suddenly discover a technicality for a retrial just to set her free. The script is already written. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my hat. But if I'm right, you owe me a drink. Awal is the one saying this on Facebook. Bright Manu says, arrives in Ghana to sleep in a luxurious room, offered state-sponsored protection, appealed the case in court, gets judgment in her favor, so she can travel back. Bismarck Sebastian says, my sincere heart goes to her children and family in this difficult moment. Make situations like this teach us how to live our lives and avoid crime. We are all sinners. Apam Hela also on Facebook says, I hope she doesn't get pardoned after a year or two in jail. Politicians usually pardon their own under the guise of prerogative and mercy. We are keenly monitoring the proceedings. And of course, the entire country is watching. We're paying attention. Because this script is very, very familiar. This is still Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Live also on all our facial social media pages. On Facebook as well, 3FM 927. Let us know what you think. a 39-year-old in connection with the assault of a female student captured in a viral video. Now, the statement continues to say that the suspect was arrested by a Ninahini District Police Patrol team on 8th June 2026 at about 7 o'clock p.m. These are all coming from the police statement following reports of an assault on an 18-year-old female student, and the name of the student has been revealed in the statement. The student is called Patience Chibu. Patience Chibu is the name of this student we're talking about. Now, preliminary investigations indicate that the suspect, who serves as a caretaker of the school's hostel, not even a teacher, as a caretaker of the school's hostel, confronted the student and some male students over alleged misconduct at the hostel. Now, during the confrontation, a misunderstanding ensued, resulting in the suspect assaulting the student. The incident angered some students who allegedly pelted stones at the suspect and invited some youth from the town to the school, the hostel of the school, in an attempt to attack him. Let me read to you again. Preliminary investigations indicate that the suspect, who is the caretaker of the school's hostel, he confronted the student and some male students over alleged misconduct at the hostel. Now, during the confrontation, a misunderstanding ensued, resulting in the suspect assaulting the student. The incident angered some students who allegedly pelted stones at the suspect and invited some youth from the town to the school hostel in an attempt to attack him. The situation was, however, brought under control through the timely intervention of the police patrol team. A police medical report form has been issued to the victim for medical examination and treatment, while the suspect remains in police custody assisting with investigations. The Ashanti Regional Police Command urges the public to remain calm and use lawful and peaceful means in resolving grievances and dispute. This is signed by Augustine Entry, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Staff Officer at the Ashanti region. Now, the PTA is also speaking. This is a statement, and it says, for public and media attention, the National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations has issued the attached press statement condemning the violent assault of a female student by a teacher at Ninahini Catholic Senior High School. This incident goes to the heart of child safety in our schools. Ghanaian parents will not accept violence disguised as discipline. We are calling for immediate police investigation, GES preliminary action, and stronger safeguarding measures nationwide. Let's have a conversation on the back of this and speak with the PTA rep who is joining us on the phone right now. Let's speak with Gabson Kofi Raphael, General Secretary, National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations. Mr. Raphael, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure speaking to you, my good friend.
We're not speaking under very good circumstances. The video that we're seeing right now, the video that has been making around on social media, very, very disturbing. When the PTA saw this video, what was the initial reaction?
First of all, let me thank you for this opportunity and greetings to you and your cherished listeners. As you said, it's just one of the unfortunate incidents that have happened, that it clearly shows that we are not in good times. For instance, we as parents, when we heard about it, and we saw the videos, it was full of shock, deep shock, and condemnation. People were condemned while we had not even seen the video. And when we had the opportunity to see it and we did some further background checks, we realized that yes, the incident indeed happened, and the teacher, under whatever circumstances, he crossed the red line. And for that matter, he had, under the disguise of trying to discipline the student, had gone beyond and had gone into the realm of violence. And for that matter, our position as Ghanaian parents was to unequivocally condemn the act of violence because beating, punching, slamming of a child in the manner captured in the video constitute torture and degrading treatment that we should not allow any human being to go through that, let alone a student. It is also a gross violation of the child's rights, and it's also against the GES Code of Professional Conduct, Code of Conduct for teaching staff of the Ghana Education Service. Particularly, it frowns upon Section 3.8, Section 3, Subsection 8, and also it is also against our societal values as a country. You know that even we as parents, no matter the level of provocation that our children do towards us, and we want to discipline them, we have a limit. Am I right, my brother?
That's very true. And this brings me to my next question. Does this incident reflect a wider breakdown of discipline, of respect in our schools, or we should treat this as an isolated case?
Well, there is no enough statistics to prove that it's across the country. We don't have that statistics. So, but some of these things is a wake-up call to all of us as stakeholders that, look, we need to probably do a lot of further fact-checking and also see what is actually happening within the school space. But I don't have any data beyond reasonable doubts to say that this is a wider. No, I don't have that data.
Should parents be concerned that some schools' disciplinary issues are becoming violent?
Of course. Of course. We should be concerned. Not only parents, all stakeholders in the educational space should be concerned. If it is against a teacher, we should be concerned and condemn. If the students who are doing it against a teacher, we should be concerned to condemn it. If it's parents who are doing it against a student, their children, we should be bold to condemn it. If it is teachers, parents who are also doing it against teachers, we should be bold to condemn it. So it is not a one-way issue. It should be something we should discuss across the spectrum of the political space and make sure that whoever crosses the line, whether it is a parent, whether it is a teacher, whether it's a school administrator, whether it is a student, we should be able to discuss it. Because you see, what has happened, the impact of it is that such misconduct amounts to what we call gender-based violence. And it exposes a student to physical injury, emotional trauma, which has implications to affect issues that borders on absenteeism in schools, loss of motivation within the educational space from students, and then it leads to dropout issues. So when we are teaching much about retention, when we are teaching much and doing education to make sure that we should send our girl child to school and all those related issues and the boy child to school, these issues, if we don't handle it well, and then we say that under the disguise of discipline, we want to justify unlawful violence against a child, it has no space within our laws. It has no space within our societal values. It has no space within our educational system. And for that matter, our mandate as PTAs is, first of all, to promote the welfare of children, secure adequate laws for their care and protection, and build united efforts between educators. When we say educators, it's not only teachers. Parents are also educators. Journalists, we are also educators. Anybody who contributes to knowledge, whether traditional knowledge, whether formal knowledge, whether informal knowledge, that person is an educator.
Right.
And also, we should also make sure that the public together will collaborate with all of us as stakeholders in education to secure for every child the highest advantage in physical, mental, social, and spiritual development of the child. We cannot fulfill this mandate if students are unsafe in our school environments.
Talking about the issues about indiscipline and whether this reflects a broader concern of breakdown of discipline in our schools. This Nyinahini Catholic SHS teacher student assault incident is the latest. But before that, we've seen the West Africa SHS assault on a teacher, Kade Senior High School assault on a teacher. There have been violence during inter-school competitions in the eastern region. We've seen stabbings, weapons and attacks reported by Nagrat and all of that. Does it not, raise a bigger question about how we are enforcing or maintaining discipline in our schools, both on the sides of the students and then the caregivers, the teachers in the classroom and out of the classroom?
As I said earlier on, I said that we need enough statistics to back it, because you see, we are dealing with how many students across the country and how many of these incidents have occurred. Are they isolated? Are they rampant? Are there those which have occurred and they are unreported? We need to have a very best measure to be able to, because you see, if out of 100 as the benchmark, a student gets, excuse my language, 80 or 90, and he misses 10 marks or 20 marks, we will not say the student has failed. But if out of 100, the student gets maybe 40% or distant, it shows clearly that things are not gelling. But the truth of the matter is that generally, we all agree that there's a general breakdown in societal values as a country. The way students used to respect teachers, the way in the community we know that we need to give the elderly their due. The students of today, the kind of kids we raise today, from the home to the school environment, the gaps keeps on widening. And we need to sit down as a country to look at how best we can get the best measure to be able to know. But you see, coming events cast their shadows. These things are a wake-up call to all of us. So if we looked at our statement, we made recommendations. The last one was systemic safeguards, where we stated that the GES or the government, together with stakeholders, must strengthen safeguarding and positive discipline training for teachers. The way we are disciplining the children in the schools, is it the best? Are we just copying, but it is not working in our system? Do we need to relook at it and fine-tune in such a way that it can fit into our system? All these things, we must look at it critically and make sure that we can establish confidential reporting channels in all schools to make sure that when something happens, we don't wait for it to escalate. When we start seeing the signs, we treat it based on the symptoms that we are seeing, so we can be able to come out of these woes. Because if in the school there is no discipline, then it will be difficult for teaching and learning to go on, because decency and order is needed to make sure that every system works and works perfectly.
I see. And my final question to you, Gapsing, will be that based on everything that you've spoken about so far and how dire the situation is, what is the NCPTA, what steps are they taking to help sanitize the system?
First of all, our major role is to collaborate and support and make sure that the school environment is safe and conducive for teaching and learning. And we can do this on a win-win situation. That is why we don't believe that government alone can do it alone. So in our motto, or in one of our things, we say that development in education, together we build. And the PTAs, which are seen only at the school level, is a misconception that government must take it out. Because this discussion is a national discussion. And you need a national perspective to discuss it. And when we are trying to do policies that we as parents, who are consumers of educational knowledge, who take our walls to the schools, who patronize the schools, who establish communities for schools to be built, if government does not discuss these issues with us properly, for us to see how we can position ourselves effectively and play our role, and also give government feedback on policy and also prefer alternatives. I just think that one head does not go into council. So if everything government thinks that the government alone can handle it, excuse my language, it's an unfortunate thinking that we have as a country. And it's high time government recognize that bodies like the National Council of PTA, which is there to be the mouthpiece of all school-based PTAs at the various levels, and we have our structures, if we are able to get resources and get support and get the goodwill of Ghanaians to be able to make sure that we can also contribute our quota, these kind of discussions will have more preventive measures than curative measures to be able to resolve these situations.
Kofi Raphael Gapson, thank you so much for your time with us on the program.
It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Raphael Kofi Gapson is General Secretary of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations there. Must feel safe. Teachers must also feel safe. And we're grateful to the National PT Association for sharing their perspective with us. The hope is that this incident becomes a turning point for stronger discipline, for better counseling and more responsible parenting. Codjoe is joining me this morning. Okay, when you were in school, if you remember, how was the relationship between teachers and students like?
I was a very bad boy. I was a very, very, very bad boy.
The man says, I was a very bad boy.
Yes.
Emphasis on was.
Yes. But
it should be
But Crosby, at the time, the culture was what we have always known as the typical Ghanaian culture. So yes, there were times when students were right, but it fell within a certain framework, and the discipline back then is nothing like we see today. Today we see a lot of social media culture and negative influences. This SHS, free SHS overcrowding, has displaced and under-resourced some of the schools. So it becomes very difficult to enforce discipline at the highest level. But some schools are doing well. But talk of back in the day, I'm a student of Apam Secondary School, Obrapaja Oraquine. So our motto alone should tell you what the school stood for and what it represented. So discipline was non-negotiable. But we also had teachers who were disciplined as well. So discipline was not only expected from students, was equally expected from teachers. And if you quite remember, back in the day, you will hardly hear of sexual abuse cases and things like that. These days it's rampant, So we can only hope that GES will tighten its grip on enforcing discipline both ways, what is expected of teachers and what is expected of students as well. It shouldn't just be at secondary schools, even the junior high schools, and even early childhood education. I think we've seen videos where nannies were abusing kids and kindergarten teachers and so on. So it's something GS should take seriously and address. And the school authorities themselves, it's important that they support GES in this endeavor, because they are the eyes of GES where they are. Yeah.
And you put it nicely. This is a question about discipline in our schools from both students and then the teachers. Discipline in Ghanaian schools has gone through some journey. Before formal schooling, discipline was mainly home-based and then community-based. Children were corrected by parents, by elders, the extended family, chiefs, religious leaders. Anybody can correct anybody's child at home. It was not only about punishment. There were elements of shame, elements of praise, communal correction, and all of that. If the child is doing something bad, you call the child, say, no, what can him?
Yeah.
Maybe in the presence of his colleagues.
As fancies, we saw that 10.
Or that 10, true.
Or that 10.
It can name him. Then came formal education through the castle schools and the missionary education. Gold Coast dating back to the castle school era, mission link schools from the 1500s to 1700s. And these schools introduced a more structured classroom system built around obedience, moral instruction, and then authority and some levels of punishment. Over time, corporal punishment became deeply embedded in Ghanaian schooling. And some studies describe corporal punishment as being almost as old as formal education. Fast forward into 2017, a major shift, when Ghana officially banned corporal punishment in basic and senior high schools. In January 2019, GS directed all pre-tertiary schools to adopt something they call the Positive Discipline Toolkit as the alternative to corporal punishment. It was meant to give teachers non-violent ways of correcting students. The Safe Schools package focused on three major areas. The toolkits, I understand, has four broad levels. There is preventive discipline, minor or first-time offenses, frequent or serious offenses, lingering or risky behavior. These were the levels that the toolkit paid attention to when it was launched. Level 1, creating a disciplined environment, even before the trouble in the school will start. So the schools were expected to set clear rules, communicate expectations, encourage good behavior, correct concerns, build mutual respect between teachers and the students. Level 2 was the minor of the first-time offenses. Reminders, warnings, caution, explanation and investigation into why a child is misbehaving. And the idea is to correct early. Good idea, correct the problem early before the behavior becomes serious. Then there's level 3, frequent or serious offenses. And that includes non-violent measures such as counseling, behavior contracts, reflection periods, writing lines, designated seating, cleaning duties, and withdrawal of responsibility. Some students list caution, reflection period, writing lines, cleaning, parent-teacher meetings as part of the things available in this toolkit. And then level 4, this is for serious or repeated misconduct. Level 4 is a lingering or risky behavior, and it involves intensive counseling, school community conferencing, parental engagement with broader intervention, rather than simply punishing the student. We're still talking about discipline here. Now, the argument made for corporal punishment against this positive discipline toolkit is that when you and I were in school, the corporal punishment will deter you quick. It will put some sense into you right now. Some teachers were saying that, and the students were also saying that, and you that you are listening to me, you also know that the caning, it worked quickly. Especially in large classes where one teacher is managing 60 or 80 students. It's not now that I'm going to call you and sit with you and talk to you, and I call you and give you 3 strong words. Yeah, sitting on your buttocks is paining you, is burning you. They say that it supported teacher authority. So it's enforced some levels of discipline. There is a but. That is the abuse of teachers, the abuse by teachers of corporal punishment. But the argument for corporal punishment again is that what corporal punishment was replaced with, and I'm talking about the positive discipline thing, the positive discipline toolkit, that it is weak. You hear the things I read to you.
Yes.
Preventive discipline, communicate expectations, encourage good behavior, build mutual respect, correcting behavior early, counseling, reflection periods, writing lines, designated seating, cleaning duties, withdrawal responsibility. The argument for corporal punishment against this one is that it is weak. You, okay, when you were in school, knowing how stubborn you were, let me say it like that. If they were using positive discipline toolkit, would they have worked on you?
To a large extent, it would have.
It would have?
Yes. I think some of us were even more rebellious because of the corporal punishment.
Because of the punishment that was meted to you.
Because we were coming from homes where, structures like the positive toolkit was what we experienced. So we understood dialogue more than force.
Right.
But I mean, in a school environment, I'm only speaking for myself, but in a school environment, you have people coming from diverse homes. So what works for K would not necessarily work for DJ.
Yes.
So looking at DJ, for instance, he'll have to be given a few strokes and disciplined a little before. But Crosby, there were some numbers that caught my attention.
Yes.
And I had wanted to go into that a little bit with you.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, okay, that's fine. It says 94% of Ghanaian children aged 1 to 14 experienced violent discipline according to the Ghana Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey in 2017 and 2018, a figure repeatedly cited by UNICEF Ghana in 2024 and 2025. And for schools specifically, 71% of children experienced corporal punishment in school, and 94 had either experienced or witnessed it, according to the nationwide 2008 Curious Minds Department of Children survey involving 4,164 children. Just to add to what the gentleman we spoke on the phone earlier, yes, Raphael said, he didn't have ready data to share, so just so that we can give it some proper context. So in 2008, a survey of 4,164 Ghanaian children found 71 experienced corporal punishment in school, and 94 either experienced or witnessed corporal punishment in school. In 2009, 56% of girls reported being beaten in school, and in 2013, physical punishment reduced but remained widespread, with 47% of girls still reporting being beaten in school. In 2013, UNICEF Child Protection Baseline, 34% of children aged 14 to 17 reported being beaten by a teacher within the previous month. And in 2017 and 2018 mix, reported that 94% of children aged 1 to 14 experienced violent behavior.
So this is the argument against corporal punishment.
Yes.
And it makes a lot of sense that it can become abuse. It will create fear, it will not build your character.
Yes.
Okay, and the teacher's violence it teaches violence as problem solving.
Yes.
So when the child grows, that's all the child knows.
Yes.
That if I want to make a change, if I want to instill discipline in something, my child, my little brother, my little sister beats the person. And was it really solving the problem? I don't think so.
Because usually the teachers would even cite the famous biblical quote, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
And if you found yourself in a Christian school, that was always the justification. There were some teachers who were discerning in issuing corporal punishment. The abuse is what I'm sure became alarming
the reason
enough
why we had to let it go.
Letting it go, yeah.
But the conversation is not to either bring back caning or bring back corporal punishment or don't bring it back. Is that even though we have moved forward from corporal punishment, we have not replaced it with something substantive enough to enforce discipline. We're not saying the positive punishment toolkit.
You think it's a longer process?
It may not be yielding the result we intended to yield, and that is evident of what we're seeing recently. The most recent is the Nyinahini one. There have been assault on teachers by students, and
I think in the last 8 to 12 years, there's been a lot of concerning cases.
Even students amongst themselves,
yes,
because maybe they think, "What at all will you do to me?"
Yes.
So we should look at a general matter if we want to bring discipline back. Maybe retraining the teachers on positive discipline, how to restore authority without violence, and then making sure that the parents are responsible again. They don't leave all the responsibility on the teachers. Protecting both the teacher and the student, putting counselors in school, reviewing the toolkit. If it is not working, know what to take out and what to bring. So that together we'll be able to find some levels of discipline in our schools. Because if we do not do it, with the way we are going, it will leave SHS, it will come to JHS, and even the primary schools. Children as young as 7, 8, they can stand before the teacher and insult the teacher because, who are you again? What can you do to me?
I think there should be stricter enforcement.
When you go to school, teacher is your teacher.
This is the Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
When you go to university, lecturer is your teacher.
And I read to you a comment on Facebook. This is from Fifi Benji. He says, GES taming our kids in schools than training and instilling discipline is very detrimental to all of us. He says that soon they will bring their attack on you, GES. And he adds that GES should be careful and give authority back to teachers. For teachers also have kids in the schools. Well, Fifi, we get your concern. It's a valid concern that some levels of authority have been taken away from the teacher, and the teacher is not now able to enforce, instill, or maintain discipline in any way.
All right, now let's go down.
But when the teachers had the duty, the mandate, when they had everything to enforce discipline, what were they doing with it? You understand? So it's a two-way conversation here. He adds that we went through school discipline in the 80s and 90s and we survived. In fact, this made us whom we are today. That is very true. But what about those who went through those levels of discipline and could not come out again? Because they were beat to submission. They could not come out of themselves.
Crosby,
yes.
You remember the Adisadel student?
Which one?
Adisadel College student who jumped from the last floor and lost his life.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, there was an incident like that I quite remember. If producer can look it up, that there was an incident like that where an Adisadel student was being chased by a certain teacher or housemaster of a sort. So he jumped and lost his life. So we're not saying that teachers shouldn't have authority in terms of instilling discipline. And when you send your ward to school, you have automatically delegated that authority as a parent to the teacher, so they can train up your child the way he should grow. But there should be some safeguards to prevent
what
abuse.
You spoke about 2008 at the Sadal College. Final year student died after jumping from the 4th floor of a classroom block, while students were said to be running away after skipping church service. There were also later reports questioning the exact account of the death, while the student's father disputing claims that his son simply jumped to death. Yes.
It was a very controversial issue. My heart goes to the family. I had a brother there who was very close to the guy who passed, and it traumatized him for years, you know. So we're not saying teachers shouldn't have the authority to discipline. We're saying to what end, you know. There's also a lot of indiscipline among teachers.
True.
If we should shift the conversation to sexual abuse and related cases, Crosby, you'll be disgusted. But here we are. I mean, so let's not treat the teachers like they are holier than thou.
True.
I mean, they should even act in a way that is expected of them, because these are minors. You know, these are minors who are still learning the intricacies and complexities of, living in a regularly organized society. So it's important that to whom much is given, much is expected. And if parents delegate their authority to you as a teacher, that's a lot. And, much is expected of you.
Yes, much is expected of you. So, Fifi, you're making a very good argument, but there's also the downside. 2009, one of the most serious reported cases, a teacher in a Providence school in Kotobabi was arrested after caning an 8-year-old pupil who later died. In Kumasi Secondary Technical School case, 2018, a case involving Kumasi Secondary Technical School, housemaster allegedly caned a second-year student for sneaking out of campus without permission. The student was left with multiple marks on his back and ribs. You understand? So
Crosby, you get my point.
Yes, yeah. It's a dicey thing, but we need to look at it else. We're going down a hill. Stay with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Take a word from our sponsors. And when we come, we'll begin our big conversations this morning. We're talking about Sedina Tamaklo, convicted former Maslock CEO, has been extradited into the country, and the state is set to execute a 10-year sentence, as well as begin processes to recover funds. Stay with us. 927. Join us there as we begin our big conversations this morning. As you may be aware, after years of trial, conviction in absentia, and an extradition process in the United States, former Maslock CEO is now back in Ghana. And she's here to serve her sentence. For some, this is a major victory for accountability. It is a signal that public officials cannot simply leave the country and escape justice. Well, for others, the timing and the politics around it raises a certain question about whether anti-corruption is being used consistently or whether some cases are becoming more politically convenient than others. And naturally, Ghanaians are asking if Sedina has been brought back, what happens to other high-profile names being discussed in extradition? That's the conversation that we're getting into this morning. We're looking at the politics, the public perception, and what this means for accountability in Ghana. Mark Usiako is here with me, convener of Election Watch Ghana, a Bull Backman of the United Party, and the man who has a special name, how he wants his name to be mentioned, Prince Derek Ajay. Gentlemen, good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you, gentlemen. Welcome.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Prince Derek Ajay, good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
You know you have a constituency here on Sunrise.
Really?
Yes, you do.
Hey, Charlie.
The producer will come and tell you about it. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Is that good news or?
He'll tell you.
No, I need to know.
It's your, some call it mischief. I don't know how you call it. Mr. Bachman, good morning, sir.
Yeah,
good to see you.
Good
to see you.
It's been a while. For some time, I was not coming on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I've resumed.
Welcome.
Yes.
And we are glad to have you.
He stopped coming without informing us, so we need to find him. I've resumed. So
It's good to see you. Mr. Ako, it's good to see you, sir.
It's good to see you too.
How is Election Watch doing?
Well, Election Watch is doing very well. You know, we are also looking out for how best we can put up good governance and accountability. And I'm very happy we are going to discuss issues of accountability related to corruption and corruption-related activities over the extradition of Sedinam.
In fact, you have laid the foundation nicely, and it will let me start with you. When you heard that Madame Tamaklo is back in Ghana, what was your first reading? Was it a reading of accountability, political convenience or political symbolism, or a general reading? How did you react to it?
Well, a very good morning to you and to my big brothers, Abu Bakman and Prince Derek Ajay of the NDC. NRS Ghana. NTV3, 3FM. Yes. And a serious advocate of Ken Ufuriata must come back.
Yes.
Why are you preempting something?
Yesterday, somebody sent me a message.
He's preempting something.
He said Prince Derek Ajay is a former big man. Well, yes. Bring Ken back. I see. But yes.
Yes. I want to request for a certain song to be played.
DJ Phil will do that.
Yes.
DJ Phil will do that.
Yes. So let me also say a very good morning to our cherished listeners and those on social media monitoring the program this morning. Corruption is one of the transnational crimes that is still a concern to the world community. And many countries are looking at how best we can reduce to the barest minimum issues of corruption and corruption-related activities, because it has a lot of negative effects on us as a people. If you consider where we come from, a developing nation, that after every tenure of every administration, the amount of money that is allegedly been siphoned, stolen, and mismanaged tells how weak our institutions are, and also questions how serious we are as a country. That indeed we should be able to put in serious measures and ensure that we build up our institutions to be able to fight against corruption. Right. It is difficult to eradicate corruption totally, but it is also important that we do everything in our might. Other countries have done that, and we all can see or read the effect of what they have done. My hearing of Sednam Tamaklo's extradition is one of the happiest things that I have seen.
I see.
I will commend the government for such an important act, because if you listen to what the American embassy said, it says U.S. is not a haven for corrupt officials, and that corruption has no borders.
Yeah.
You cannot commit yourself in any corruption and corruption-related activities and decide to run away from the shores of your country.
Go and hide there.
And go and hide there. It is for which reason, under the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, which is a treaty that Ghana is also a part of, have all undergone this treaty to ensure that people who are found culpable of any corruption-related activities or stealing, embezzling funds or whatever should be, extradited from wherever they find themselves to their country of origin, irrespective of how sovereign the nation is. And of course, under the United Nations, every country or most countries are sovereign nations. However, if you are found in such act or manner, it is important that we allow the treaties under those laws to deal with you. I also know that Sednam Tamaklo has the right to appeal, and her right to appeal can never be undermined.
True.
She was tried in absentia. Of course, there may be other responses or defense that her lawyers could have mounted. Unfortunately, she was out of jurisdiction. Her leaving Ghana was through a plea which was granted by the court, which of course she was expected to have come back to face her trial. And she didn't do that. To me, I see this to be a slap on the face of our laws when it comes to exactly our justice system, when it comes to issues of accountability, because you requested to go out there, on medical grounds. And if you think you are fine, why won't you come down to face your issues in court? Maybe there may be other defenses that your lawyers might put across, which could affect positively on your behalf the finality of the matter. Unfortunately, it didn't happen this way. But I think we must commend the government for not sleeping on this particular matter, but pursuing it through all diplomatic means between Ghana and then the United States. And issues of this nature, you cannot go and get whoever is in question extradited without proving beyond any reasonable doubt. In some jurisdiction, they would think that you are just being politically, witch hunting. And so you need to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that indeed the person in question has really done ABC, for which reason the extradition is very, very important for you as a sovereign nation. I think the country have done well in that bit. We brought Sedna Tamaklo to come and then face her sentence. If it fits within her own right, as far as the lawyers are concerned, why not? He can appeal. But I listened to a lawyer from UPSA this morning with you during the interview, and he gave us a very beautiful education, which what I picked was that when someone is convicted, You are given a specific period of time. Okay? There is a specific period of time to appeal. I don't know if that period have elapsed.
92.7.
If it has, what then is the next thing to do? I also heard the Attorney General talking about the fact that Sedna Tamaklu's lawyers have every right to appeal the conviction. And so if these are all opportunities available, you know, for her to take advantage of, why not? This is not to say that I am in support of whatever she had done. Because if you look at the money in question, and at the time, that money could have done a lot. In fact, going into the merit of the matter, where monies that were supposed to have been used for sensitization for beneficiaries were not, you know, used for.
Right.
Also, some procurements were done wrongfully, and, you know, some payments were also not done rightfully. And these are all administrative breaches. We and I will never sit anywhere to condone such acts.
Okay.
Irrespective of whoever the person is,
right.
Irrespective of your political color, what is wrong, and the laws must deal with whoever embezzles funds of this country. But for me, I would say that if we have succeeded in bringing Sedna Tamaklu, I'm sure there are other avenues we can also use to bring other individuals, including the former minister,
the former finance minister, Ken
Oforiatta,
right,
to also face or give account to his services that he rendered to the good people of Ghana.
Mark, thank you. Let me come to you about. It's good news that Sedna is back in the country. But there are those who are of the opinion that she's returning at a time when the political climate may favor her, because there's a lot of demand for Ken Oforiatta to come in the country, and governments had to do something. So government decided to take an easy fish. And now that she has come during the tenure of the NDC, and the climate may favor her. Is there a fair concern for them to raise?
Yeah, so good morning to our listeners. Good morning to your good self and my brothers here this morning. Let me begin my submission with a note of caution to the government. You see, this government is enjoying some goodwill, some degree of goodwill from Ghanaians.
Right.
And Ghanaians seem to have confidence in this government and trust in this government. They should never make any move relative to this Sedna Tamaklo issue that would dissipate the confidence and the trust people have in them.
Right.
The woman has been convicted. She's been sentenced. She should be made to serve a sentence. You don't want a situation where she will be favored by virtue of the fact that she belongs to the ruling government. Let that note of caution be sent to the government. We all agree in this country that what is delaying our development, one of the major nemesis of this country is corruption. So regardless of your political colors, if you are found to have plundered this nation, the law must deal with you to its logical conclusion. You don't want a situation where, because of people's political colors, the law will be manipulated to favor them, but when ordinary Ghanaian steals cassava and goat, he's given 10 years imprisonment. That's the kind of situation we want to avoid in this country. So I am warning this government. People are watching.
Yes.
They should be prepared to sacrifice somebody for the sake of the kind of goodwill and the kind of confidence and trust Ghanaians have in them. You see, let me say this. I have traveled across this country. I've never been to all the regions, but I've been to more than 10 of them. And I have experienced poverty. I've seen poverty. I've seen poverty walking. I've seen poverty drinking water with cows. I've seen poverty lying on the floor at the hospital. I've seen things. And if we are, as a country, we are not prepared to fight corruption so that we can reduce poverty, then we should do something about this democracy. If people can be plundering this nation the way some of them have done, and will be given some, if you like, some treatment, special treatment, because of the fact that they belong to a political party. But when a Ghanaian who doesn't belong to a political party steals something, I mean, mobile phone, people get more than 10 years for stealing mobile phone in this country.
So it's a warning to the government.
So I am saying that this government should be prepared to sacrifice the umbrella and walk in the rain.
Okay.
In this matter.
I see.
Because Ghanaians are watching. But also let me say, it brings to the fore another issue of Ken Ofori-Atta.
Yes, it does. We'll get there. We'll get to Ken Ofori-Atta's issue. But let me welcome Awal Mohammed. Awal Mohammed is an MPP communications team member. Awal, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
I think it's our first time interacting, yeah?
Yes, yes, on radio,
yes,
on TV.
Yes, on radio is our first time talking. Yes. Welcome. And I'm sure you heard what Ebo was saying, warning the current government. This is a warning that you seriously ascribe to, don't you?
Thank you so much, and good morning to our cherished listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think he's only, if I don't know the right word to use, making noise, because this government cannot be trusted.
No, Ebo is warning government not to treat her with kid gloves. You think it's noise?
Yes, because you see, if it were to be this government that was in power when she was sentenced, I wouldn't be surprised that they even filed nolle prosequi to even leave her. If it were to be this government that was supposed to go and extradite her, they wouldn't have done that. It is something that they inherited, and there's nothing they could have done about it. They only had to follow through.
But they did.
But there was nothing they could do. Because in the US, when you put in the request, they will only follow through and make sure that everything is really done for them to bring them Ghana. It's not the effort of this government that brought Sedinam Tamakulu into this country. She was sentenced in April. By June, we sent that request. By August, they acknowledged the receipts. And by December, they gave us updates that they were still following through to find out where she is and so on. To the extent that they had to do all these things. Extradition is not an easy task. So it took 2 years for her to really get back into this country, for them to bring her back into this country. The reason I'm saying this is that this is an attorney general who took over. After taking over, he inherited cases to the tune of 7 billion Ghana cedi, causing financial loss to the state and theft. This attorney general discontinued all these cases. How much more? 94 million. Sedinam Tamakulu has been sentenced for stealing 94 million Ghana cedi. You made cases which are to the tune of 7 billion Ghana cedi. You discontinue all these cases because they are members of your party. And you think that attorney general will really go and bring this woman back into this country? Did you see the reaction of the deputy attorney general yesterday? When they asked him whether he was happy that indeed they've been able to bring her, he said, "You cannot be happy. You are the attorney general and you want to bring people to justice. This is fugitive of justice and she's been brought to Ghana. When you have to celebrate, you said you don't know whether you are to celebrate her coming back into this country. Because in the first case, they did not really start the process to bring her back into this country.
So you don't trust that they would watch this case to its logical conclusion that she'll serve her sentence?
There were 2 accused people.
Yes.
They were sentenced. The other person is now in the house And the media has not even been given the update on where the next court case will be is scheduled. Daniel Axim, the state went and prosecuted him, proved beyond any reasonable doubt that he was guilty, and the court upheld it, and the court jailed him. He filed in an appeal, waited until his government came to power, went and the Attorney General did not defend as much as they proved the case, and he's now home. So
he's just on bail.
Yes, but he's home.
But
he's on bail.
Yes, bail.
The last time I was
not linked to the executive. It's entirely the judiciary.
It is because the prosecution will have to come in and defend. And in this case, it's the Attorney General who prosecuted the case. After prosecuting the case, they were able to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that indeed they stole the money.
But
the court jailed them.
But it was the same court that granted him bail, and that
appeals court, not same court.
I mean, it was
an appeal court.
That's what I mean.
Yes,
and that decision by the court came from a justice of the court, not the executive arm.
Yes, the executive arm will have to defend it, or put in a bad case and lose.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying that the Attorney General did not really want Daniel Axim there, and that's the reason we saw him there, because the case, if a case is presented before a court, they listen to the two people, the plaintiff and the defendant. And if you are able to present your case well, that is when the court will be able to adjudicate on the case that has been presented. I will never be surprised that Sedinam Tamaklu will go to court today. Today. I will not be surprised that she will go to court and get bail. Because if police service arrests people in this country, what do? They snap the picture, cover the face, and publish on their Facebook page. They arrested her at the airport according to the Minister for Government Propaganda, Felix Kwachofosu. He says they arrested her at the airport.
She's not Minister for Government Propaganda.
So government what?
Communications.
Okay, so he said they arrested her and the police took her from the immigration people at the airport. Where is the picture? If not for the confirmation from the the U.S. embassy here, Ghanaians will never have believed that indeed she's even in this country. When this country, when Kelvin Taylor, who scandalized the court, after scandalizing the court, there was an arrest warrant on his head. He was put on stop list at Kotoka and all our entry points. He got to Kotoka, used the VVIP lounge. A journalist alleged that he went and slept at the residence of the vice president. In the morning, he was marched to a court and he was granted bail.
These are allegations.
They are not allegations. Which one is an allegation?
You just said a journalist alleged that he slept at some.
Where he slept is the allegation, but the rest of the things is true. Because he came into this country, was not arrested because there was an arrest warrant on his head. He was not arrested at Kotoga. He came through VVIP launch according to the eyewitness there. In the morning, he was driven in a national security vehicle to the court. That is also a fact because we saw all that.
So all of this means
he was granted bail. How do we trust such as Attorney General?
Okay.
When you have an Attorney General who can discontinue 200 million Sagleme case, when you have an Attorney General who can say that there is this case against Unibank, because the man is an NDC man, pay 60%, we've written off 40% for you. If not this Attorney General, which he's the worst Attorney General in the history of this country.
Okay. Well, thank you. Prince, you've listened to the submissions from a while and clearly saying that he does not trust anything indicating that Madame Tamaklo would go through the process and be convicted for her to serve a sentence. Do you have any assurances to give to him that they will follow due process?
Well, I've listened to all three submissions.
Yeah.
Not one. 3 submissions. So, but before I even begin, I must put on record that I do know Sedina Tamaklo Christine very well. We were both at the National Youth Authority.
Okay.
She was the CEO of the National Youth Authority. I was the deputy CEO of the National Youth Authority. Following Sekun Nkrumah's exit, she became the CEO, and then after her, Ras Mubarak. I remained deputy in all
Deputy CEO in all the tenures.
until we were both moved to the office of the president, she to Maslock and me to the Youth Enterprise Support at the office of the president. Now, I have known her, I've worked with her, and I know her meticulous nature, at least as at the time of her being at the National Youth Authority, I can vouch. I wasn't at Maslock. I don't know how the systems work there, so I can't say so much of the things that are being alleged, except to say that, especially having listened to the last speaker, who used to be an NDC member.
I know this man will bring this thing in.
Please.
Because wherever I meet him,
I haven't even mentioned your name.
So say it.
You're the last speaker, and I'm a former member of the NDC.
So what is your problem? I'm just stating facts here.
So Derek, quickly talk about that one and go to
Sunrise and Oil later is MPP. So today, if he's running down the NDC because of rice and some oil, that's fine.
What is rice
but
and oil?
He speaks,
the main point.
What is that? What is rice and oil?
No, he speaks for Baumia.
What is rice and oil?
He speaks. No.
Respond to
yeah, I'm just about to respond to his. But I said he speaks for Baumia. I would want to take his position as that of Baumia.
Now to the main issue.
And having put it in that category, since he speaks for the MPP and Baumia, I would want to believe that he knows the Attorney General who started the conviction process and his attempts to convict people like the current finance minister and Jakpa. We all know that story. This is an Attorney General who was coaching people to have people convicted even when they didn't have a case. And he said that he was under pressure from some specific people, Akufo-Addo, the president at the time, Baumia, the vice president at the time, Ken Ofori-Atta, and others.
Mr. J.
These are facts. No. I'm making it. No. Wait, hold on.
I want you to talk about.
No. Please allow me. I'm laying a certain foundation.
Okay.
Now, if such persons were convicting persons on these grounds, and I'm sure you remember the history of Akufo-Addo, even when he was Attorney General.
Please, it's the court that convicts people.
I have?
We're doing education. You shouldn't be.
My good friend, I was quiet.
Hold on.
See, I don't know. The MPP has spoiled
If you have
the MPP has spoiled you, stop what you're doing. Now you see. Remember the Chachuchikata case. The president versus Chachuchikata instead of the Republic versus Chachuchikata. Attorney General at the time was Akufo-Addo. It's no surprise. We know he's been exonerated in the end, correct?
3FM.
But they forced and imprisoned the man. I am not saying Sedina is guilty or she's not guilty, but against the background of these persons and their penchant for wanting to criminalize people and jail people just so they can tick a box. We've seen several other such cases. The way they hounded the cocoa board persons and so on and so forth. So I think that, in fairness, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that legal maxim that it's better for 1,000 to walk free than to have one, innocent person incarcerated. They attempted to incarcerate Ato Forson, innocent. Today he's finance minister and he's turned the economy around. We have a former finance minister who drove us into this mess. They are not interested in that. And I've never heard Baumia comment on this Ken Ofori-Atta matter. Today, I want Baumia to speak to that issue. Akufo-Addo, who himself, if Ken Ofori-Atta arrives in this country, will be in jail. Look, he's running the clock because he has a 3-year time frame of not being convicted after. So if after another 1.5 years, Akufo-Addo is going to walk free. I think that the expiration of crime, which applies to all persons, that crime has no expiration date, should be extended to the presidency. So nobody comes to serve as president and can walk free after 3 years. So we can convict Akufo-Addo no matter when Ken Ofori-Atta comes to town. Now, to the return of or extradition of Sedina Tamaklo.
At long last.
At long last. I think that, and we've issued a statement, that's Arise Ghana. I belong to Arise Ghana. We have been advocating for the extradition of not just Ken Ofori-Atta, but his chef de maison, that's Akore, and Sedina Tamaklo. We're happy that the extradition process has gone through
3FM
and that she's in town.
92.7.
We are looking forward to the 2 other extraditions, and we believe that it should be speedy so that it will be relevant and not after a long period when Akufo-Addo, for example, would have escaped that 3-year period.
They say that there's the concern that although Madame has arrived in the country, because the climate may favor her politically.
Which climate? The rainy season?
The political climate may favor her.
Okay.
It cannot be trusted that impediments will not be put in the way for her to serve her conviction.
Oh, I think that she did not just run away. She left the country like Ken Ofori-Atta left the country before the change of government. She left with the permission of the court, not with the permission of the president at the time and the attorney general at the time, but the permission of the court because of ill health. I think that now that she's returned, it behoves on the government to ensure that indeed she's healthy and fit to be incarcerated.
So
because these are human rights, fundamental.
Yes. So
and that should apply to any Ghanaian.
Administrative processes, medical processes, and security processes, so that if she meets all of those, then the expectation is that she will begin to serve.
This government is transparent. This president is very, very respectable, a man of honor. In fact, I'm sure you served in YE, right? You were in YE?
Yes.
And during Abu Gapele's time, right?
No, just recent.
Oh, after Abu Gapele. Okay.
Yes.
But you remember Abu Gapele?
8 years. Yes, I remember.
Yes. No.
Stay on
the
track.
President, this current president, his first term, Abu Gapele, who headed the office that he subsequently occupied,
Stay on track.
was jailed.
No, he was not jailed under Mahama.
Derek, stay on track.
He was not jailed under Mahama. He was jailed in 2018.
The prosecution started under John Mahama.
Derek, Abu Gapele is not.
No, I'm just saying that,
not on
and the president did not free him, just by a whimsical stroke of the pen. This president is not noted for doing that.
Okay, so
now I believe that we all do know how meticulous this president has been, stickler to the constitution, the rule of law, and all that, and being fair to all manner of persons, regardless of status, political affiliation, tribe, or religion. I believe very strongly in this president that he would do what is just, so that tomorrow, when he is caught, and very soon they will all be lined up. In fact, together with Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, Bediatu, all of them, when they are lined up and they are incarcerated, that we can all say that indeed the law is taking its rightful turn. When Ken comes, and he will be brought, and Akori, that they will also be accorded the same fairness. Because look, we are all Ghanaians. At any point in time, anyone can fall foul of the law, not necessarily due to a crime like it's been alleged as in public office, related crime, but any offense can land you in jail. A traffic offense, anything.
Okay.
And when it happens, we must be sure that we can have fairness, and that's what I'm talking to the ordinary Ghanaian.
Right.
And I'm saying that this government would stand true to that. I don't think that Sedna is going to be let off the hook, unless, of course, it can be proven that indeed, just like Atufosin and others, that some coaching went on by the Attorney General, who has a record of coaching people, who himself should be behind bars for that very offense.
If you don't think Sedina will be left off the hook, it's good to know. But if government appears hesitant, will you call it out?
Excuse me.
If
No.
government
Are you suggesting that government has been hesitant so far?
I'm asking a question. That if government appears hesitant, will you call it out?
I don't even understand the question you're asking. It doesn't arise. I don't know whether you're speaking for the MPP.
No, I'm not speaking for the MPP.
So what are you asking?
You are saying that he will not, Sedna will not be left off the hook and have whimsical. That's what you said.
No, I said yes. I've said that, and I'm happy you added the last bit because then it wouldn't have made sense.
But that's what you said. I'm saying what you said.
Yes. No, you added the last part, then it made sense, as in the circumstances.
Yes.
If it is found out that the Attorney General, what was his name again? The one who was coaching people.
If it is found out that what?
No. I want to mention the name so it will be on record because he was the one who tried Sedina, right? And I listened to his deputy also say that they will follow closely. And I'm happy that they are interested in following closely. And I hope that they will follow closely every other case.
You were making a point. If it is found out that what?
If it found out that they did not convict her on rightful basis.
Okay.
And that true to their character, which they inherited from Akufo-Addo from his days of the fast track that Kufuor put in place, specifically to jail the likes of Chachikuta. And that which he, please, respect yourself.
Don't mention Abu Dhabi.
Respect yourself.
Prince,
respect
make your point. Make
now,
your point.
Which the Attorney General who just left, what's his name? The hatchet man.
Godfred
Dami, yes.
He's not a hatchet man. He was
the hatchet man for the president. He himself said he was under pressure from the president to jail Atu-Forson so they can have a by-election. True or not true? No, these are facts. They wanted to jail Atu-Forson and were trying to coach Jakpa to do that. And so Jakpa produced the tapes and all that to prove that indeed. No, these are not allegations.
It's okay.
No, what do you mean it's okay?
It's okay. Let me come.
No, so you are satisfied?
Yes, it's okay.
Yes, thank you. So don't say you're okay. Say you are satisfied with the facts.
If government enforces the sentence fully, it's something you would commend, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think what we are all expecting from government is to ensure that they enforce whatever, or the security agencies enforce whatever outcome.
And the judicial service
exactly
role to play still.
Whatever outcome is before us. The issue of non-prosequa, I think, is also embedded in our books, in our constitution under Article 88, which mandates or gives the Attorney General the opportunity or the power to decide to file a non-prosequa in the course of judgment.
So it does not come here at all, because this is somebody who has been convicted already.
So if people have been prosecuted on instances of corruption and corruption-related activities, and at a point in other cases, just as my brother Awal said, that these Attorney General have filed non-prosequa in some other cases relating. Yes, that's what I'm saying, that if even in the process you are able to file a non-prosequa, I'm saying that this has been done by several governments, including the MPP. And so to justify... Okay, so Aisha Wan was arrested in 2018 on an illegal mining case. And in 2022... Yes, and in 2022, she was re-arrested again, all right? But in the same 2018, she was deported. Where the Attorney General at the time filed a non-prosequa. We can go on and on and on and on. There was a case in Ashanti region over these vigilante guys, where a court of competent jurisdiction sentenced these individuals. What happened? So, Article 88 gives the Attorney General the power. If we think that it makes no sense, then we can look at taking it out of our law books. But if it makes sense, why do we then sit here to argue about that? I am saying that I would be very happy to see government, the judicial service, and the security agencies see through that Sedina Tamaklu or Sedina is an event name. Sedina Tamaklu faces her conviction to the latter without any favor from his political party, from her political party. Sorry, and so let's not prejudice the entire conversation. That looking at the issues before us, there's a possibility that she's going to be left on the hook. I mean, she's been sentenced for 10 solid years, and the Constitution gives her that fundamental right to appeal.
Yes. So that option is also available.
It is also available. So for my brother to say, he is thinking that the Attorney General and the government itself will not do anything about it. I mean, she's already been sentenced. So what is the beef here?
Okay. Let me take your final words on this, Abel, and we'll talk about some other subjects.
Come to me because you gave them the second opportunity.
If you are giving them, means I have to.
Prince, let's Abel. I'm on you now.
As the saying goes, my brother, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because it may come sooner than you expect.
No, what does it mean?
Awal's incarceration. You see, Awal is complaining about Nole Prosequa. I'm just hoping that should any MPP person,
including himself, add it.
should any MPP person, after 8 years, who is facing the court, if after 20 years or 30 years, the court or the prosecutor is not able to make any meaningful argument to put a person before
to read judgment,
and his government come to power, Attorney General will not, institute Nole Prosequa.
Okay.
I'm also hoping that should any of them go to jail, any of them who are facing the court go to jail, they shouldn't apply for bail, or they shouldn't, they shouldn't appeal to be granted bail while they go to court. I mean, they go to court from the house.
Okay.
Because that is what something that he complained about, that one of the Maslow guys is going to court from the house.
Axim.
So he sees everything wrong with that. So I'm saying that in case MPP comes to power, maybe in the next 20 years after staying in opposition for a long time, and we have similar situation, they shouldn't complain about it. But you see, kind of right issue, let's not run away from it.
Yes, briefly.
It's very important. If you put on the scale, said Tamaklo, the amount involved, and kind of right issue, the kind of amount we are hearing, it's like comparing Opro with an elephant. Huge difference.
And Sedina is the Opro.
The weight of Opro to almost every Ghanaian knows Opro. Okay,
is that grass cutter or squirrel?
Okay, let me use grass cutter so that it will be easy for all of us. An elephant. So you see, MPP. I expect MPP to hold a press conference on the basis of what has happened, and call on Kenofrato to come home.
Sedina did not come by herself.
Yes, that is where MPP can take advantage. Because Kenofrato has dented the image of the party already. For the first time, right? For the first time in the history of Ghana, finance minister, after 7, has run away. We're gone. Ozemika, we're gone if Ghana. He has run away. And his party is still talking. His political party is still talking in this country. That's how unserious can some people be in this country. That the finance minister, the man who was holding our books, holding our money, after 7, with Zakoshi fancy, with Zakoshi, with Guan, now the man is not coming anymore.
So the current government should intensify its efforts to try and bring.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, the process is ongoing, but it will be in the interest of MPP as a political party to hold a press conference and stop the needless press conferences they've been holding. Hold one and say, Kenofrata, come home and face the law, face accountability and justice. Because Ghanaians entrusted their resources into your hand.
Right.
Are you getting the point I'm making?
Yeah.
So, you see, when it comes to the issue of corruption and all these issues, accountability and all that, MPPs should be the last political party to be talking about it.
Matty.
Because, bro, let me finish.
Please finish.
Yeah, let me finish. Because
we want to talk about
they are records. Look at the cases in court. Corruption and corruption-related cases in court as we speak. Attorney General is overwhelmed with cases. Now they are even asking for help from outside their domain, so that they could handle these numerous corruption cases. Look, they are all the former Ashanti region chairman of the party.
Chairman won to me.
4 cases. 4 cases. 2 related to Galamsey, Cocoa Road, and also Ezen Bank. These people are speaking when a government has made the effort. You see, I listened to their deputy attorney general during their time. He said they started the process, and this government came to continue. You are sitting here saying that the government did nothing about it. The old former attorney general says they started the process, and this government came to continue, and he's happy that the woman is in. You see, you know their problem? Because now that the woman is in, they wanted equalization. So that they can make argument for Ken's refusal to come to Ghana. And I've said it, and let me repeat it. If Ken Ofate doesn't come to Ghana, we should sacrifice MPP on his refusal to come to Ghana. We should sacrifice MPP on the author of his refusal to come to Ghana. Because we can't sit aloof for a finance minister to run away and his political party is making noise about corruption-related cases. That should not be allowed to happen in this country. That is why every Ghanaian, I've said in my position. When it comes to the issue of corruption, even if my own brother is involved in corruption, I'll be the first person to ask the judge to put him behind bars.
Right.
Because corruption, the effect of corruption on this country has been dire. And I think this is the time all the political parties must be prepared to sacrifice people, their members, for the sake of the development of this country. That is why I don't expect this government. The woman has the right to go to court for appeal. It is within her rights. Yes, but I'm saying that if she goes to court, let the law work naturally. There shouldn't be any manipulation to favor anybody. Let the law work to its logical conclusion. So that, at the end of the day, the man who was jailed 10 years for stealing mobile phone will feel that, yes, I also had justice.
Okay. Thank you. And well, you have just 30 seconds to this.
30 seconds because I have 3 people against one. You gave him the first opportunity. I'm coming. I have to protest. You gave him the first opportunity. He spoke. Now he has spoken for 6 minutes, and you're giving me 30 seconds. No.
Hold on. When Mark was speaking, I timed him, and Mark, he spoke briefly. Prince is not going to get another chance because he spoke extensively. No, you did. You spoke.
You spoke for 15 minutes.
So she's not going to get another chance. That is why I'm back to you.
So I'm saying,
I'm coming.
Okay, so even if it's a minute, I'll be able to really clear this.
This is my question to you.
I'll be able to clear this.
This is my question to you.
Yes.
We know that Sedina has avenues available to her.
Yes.
And amongst that is to apply for bail,
yes.
ask the court to reduce or overturn the sentence, and then continue with the appeal. All of these are legally available to her. So if it happens that she goes through the legal process and then something happens in her favor legally, then we cannot begin to raise questions about it, should we?
Yes, but before I get there, my brother, avail yourself, at least update yourself. In the 8 years of our administration, we never filed a single nolle prosequi in any case that involves anyone. One is that Aisha Juan, when we arrested her in 2018, at that time, our existing law says that we should deport her, just like you did deportation in 2014 under Yunus Afuseni. You understand? So we deported her.
Just respond to that.
We deported her. After deporting her, she sneaked back into this country. By that time, we have changed our laws to the extent that we jailed her. So Aisha Juan, there was no nolle prosequi, she was jailed. Again, the 13 Delta Force people, they were sentenced to a fine or, in default, 1 year in prison. They paid 23,400 cedis by an Asuka court. So it is not true that it happened like this. And again, he says, Sedna Tamakulu left with the permission of the court. That is true. 2 people stood surety, Governor Tamakulu and Alex Mood.
Yeah.
When she absconded and did not return, they had to pay 5 million Ghana cedi to the court before they were left off the hook. So she absconded from justice. It is not the case that Sedinam Tamakulu just left and did not come and she's now coming back.
Wrap up for me.
She just left. Again, he talked about cases that are overwhelmed by the Attorney General. There are only 2 active cases of former appointees that is in court today. 2. Out of the over 20 press conferences the Attorney General had addressed in this country.
The others are at various stages.
I'm saying that those at various stages are 2. The NSS and the NSB. These are the only 2 cases that are against former government officials. You go and arrest Shamaun to me, who has never even held any position in court, in government. Never held any position in government.
You understand? And you're telling us that
he has fine-tuned it nicely. He's talking about former government officials. So
you said former government official.
But
was talking about former government official.
Now to the question I asked. That she has avenues. I'm coming. She has
the regional chairman did not involve himself in corruption. The regional chairman went for a loan.
Gentlemen, let's stick to the issues. The
regional chairman went for a loan.
It's okay about the regional chairman.
And there's nothing wrong with going for a loan.
When the regional chairman is on for discussion this morning, we'll talk about it. What we're talking about right now is that the options available to Sedina, if she goes through those options and the court finds reason to give her some breathing space, why should we be worried? Briefly.
What will endanger confidence and for people of this country, not necessarily MPP, to see the woman going to Nsawam today from yesterday? They want to see her because she has been convicted already. But she has been arrested. I'm coming. She has been arrested.
Prince.
She has been arrested.
But she has rights. She has avenues available.
She has rights. But at this point in time, her rights have been curtailed because she has been arrested at the airport. And she's supposed to be sent to the prison to start serving her sentence.
That's situation.
But
that's
there are processes that should go through. Administrative process, medical processes, security checks, all of that should happen.
You see, when you are sentenced in a court, you are sent straight to the prison.
Particularly if you're a woman.
I've been a court reporter for 3 years for
pregnancy checks.
I've been a court reporter for 3 years for Ghana News Agency. So I know the processes. The person is standing trial at that time. And if the person is sentenced, the person goes to jail.
Yes, but this is the case that she has not been in the jurisdiction. She's now coming, so she has to go through the process.
Even if she was in the jurisdiction,
anyways, we have to talk about.
We will not. Some of us will not.
We have to talk about.
On Kenoforiata.
Yes, briefly.
I will be highly surprised that Kenoforiata will be extradited in this country.
Why? Why would you be surprised?
The reason is that the two cases are not the same. One is that this is someone who has been convicted. The second is that there is the case of persecution that we could see. It was someone who left this country with the permission of the chief of staff. He showed you where he is, the hospital he is in. Then you go ahead to declare him a fugitive of justice. When he has not been convicted, you only needed him to interrogate him. You couldn't interrogate him over there.
That is why
the lawyers are saying that they are afraid that he will be persecuted, and that's the reason they do not want him to come back. So I will be highly surprised if the U.S. will extradite Kenoforiata into this country.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Because they fear persecution, and that's what we see.
We'll see.
Sunrise on 3FM.
Available and ready, waiting for the awards in the schools. We'll be waiting before reopening day or reporting day, so do not delay and be caught in the usual last-minute market rush. Carrying heavy items under pressure. With EduPack, your child does not need to travel to school with these essential items. All you need to do is to simply dial star 713 star 821 hash, visit any ADB branch or go to www.edupack.com. Make payments, keep your receipt and present it on reopening day to collect your child's EduPack items. That is it for EduCat for you. For more information, you can do is call 050-700-752, 050-864-4802. EduPack, no stress, no wahala. The next one this morning, it is coming from the SNID Luxury Apartments. They are now on sale. If you're looking to own a premium home in a prime location in Accra, then SNID is inviting you to explore its luxury apartments and townhouses, featuring spacious 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units across selected areas in Accra. So choose from Adinkra Heights in Cantonment, Eagles Place in Royal, Travelly in Sakumono, Meridian Gardens in Klagon as well. All of these are available to be your next home. Experience comfort, style, and value backed by a trusted institution. Units are now selling. Call 0244-593-276 or visit SNIT Sales Office at the 6th floor Ridge Tower, Accra for further details. This one is from Latex Foam Rubber Products. You know that these days mattresses are being made from all kinds of unsafe materials that are not fit to be sleeping surfaces. And these mattresses may be cheap, but they can be very harmful to your health. Don't meet Ghana's safety standards and will end up costing you more than you can imagine. Buying a free and cheap mattress may seem like a good way to save money, but do not fall for that cheap trap. If you haven't slept well, it means you cannot work and you cannot think well, and you're ultimately putting your health at risk, which can cost you a lifetime of discomfort and chronic pain. So as responsible citizens, we should invest in safe, durable, and certified mattresses. That's why we must all raise awareness to protect families across the country. Latex Foam remains the tried and tested brand we all love for 60 years. They offer unmatched quality and durability for every Ghanaian home. So make the smart choice. Call them 0302-231155. Call Latex Foam and get it ready. We're moving away from the extradition conversation and come back home to the business of governance, gentlemen. This conversation is now about performance, pressure, and political survival within the Mahama administration. When the president begins to assess ministers, CEOs, and key appointees, it's not just an internal government exercise. This sends a strong message about priorities, delivery, and accountability. Some appointees may be retained because they are seen to be performing. Others may be removed, reshuffled, or quietly pushed aside because the expectations of the public have not been met. But the bigger question is this: what should really determine who stays and who goes? Is it loyalty, competence, political usefulness, public perception, or measurable performance? And at a time when Ghanaians are demanding results on jobs, cost of living, roads, health, transport, public service delivery, the President Performance Review becomes more than a cabinet matter. It becomes a test of whether government is listening. So this morning we're opening it up. Retained, removed, or reshuffled. Who survives Mahama's Performance Review, and what should the President be looking at? Prince, you have a comment?
Yeah, I think that...
I hope it's about what we're talking about now, not about Sedina and Ken Offerta, Prince.
But why are provoking me to talk about Ken?
No. Okay,
Ken will not have been retained.
Make your comment. Make your comment.
I don't think even I want to.
Okay, it's
Ken.
okay.
So now to the subject matter that you raised, and that's what I was going to talk about.
Right.
Now, I think that a lot has been engineered in the media space.
Mm-hmm.
It's the president that appoints his ministers.
True.
And it is his prerogative to do a reshuffle, and when he decides to, or if he decides not to. In fact, President Akufo-Addo
did not. We know that.
Yes. And so I don't think the MPP has earned any right to even speak about reshuffles and demand same. But unfortunately, they have put this on the table and the media is following it. True. It's the MPP that smuggled some fake reshuffle list, which had actually put people into the categories that you want us to discuss this morning. It's an agenda setting by the MPP, and I think that we must resist talking about these things that the MPP pushes on our table. Because there are much more serious issues on flooding and so on that the appointees are busy trying to sort out when they have chopped the money. Sanitation money, somebody put under the bed.
Your point has been made.
No, hold on, please, let me just land. I beg you, please, it's very important.
You can land without making those inferences.
Why? I cannot. He has been making such things. That's fine. Now, the bottom line is this. The president has not said he's reshuffling. I don't think we should make it a subject matter. In fact, NDC, even as a party, has not even decided whether to have a flag bearership race in the near future.
No, that's not even a discussion.
That's what led to these things until Musa Dankwa started his polls, which the NDC has not sanctioned, which none of the people that he's been polling have asked him to do. Agenda setting. Then that becomes an issue of whether people are actually focusing on their job or not. Look, I think that pound for pound, we can discuss ministers and their performance, but not within the context of a reshuffle. I think it's absurd.
If we're discussing it based on performance and...
No, because NPP have put it on the table.
No, I'm coming.
Have you seen that document that they put out there? Is it fake or not?
I'm coming.
We are now
government says it's not real. We know that.
It's not government says. You know, for example, they put a deputy minister for local government.
I don't work with government.
No, but you are a media person.
Yes.
Have you done your fact check?
That is now why we know that it's not real.
Check that document. No, check that.
Anyways.
They have put on that list a deputy minister for local government, and chieftaincy. There is no such person there. You think the president doesn't know his appointees?
So the document is fake?
It's fake. Good. So why are we discussing a fake document that Baumia has churned?
We are not discussing that document, Prince. What we are discussing...
The criteria they put there is exactly what you have tabled.
Please listen to this.
Who stays, who gets...
Please listen to this.
Yes.
These people are serving the public.
Yes.
They have expectations to meet.
Yes.
It is only fair that the people they are serving can now rate their performance. If I rate a performance and the person's performance is not good enough, am I not right to then begin to say that I want you changed? That's the discussion we're having.
But
it has nothing to do with MPP, Baumia, anybody.
He put that document out.
I'm sure you've made your statement.
No.
Let me come to you.
The Ghanaian people have not asked for... In fact, the Ghanaian people are not the ones to reshuffle. As the president called for reshuffle.
I want to talk to you. And this is coming from Callistus Mahama as well. And is in relation to the most recent Minister of State Award scheme that happened. Now, there's a quote from Callistus. It says the presidency will undertake its own comprehensive review of ministers and CEOs, and the findings may influence retention, reassignment, or future cabinet restructuring. So it is a possibility that something like that will happen. From what you said, what would be your overall assessment of some of the appointees of government?
Okay, so we are talking about public sector appointees.
Yes.
And you know, the president appointed them on our behalf. Because the president is the president of Ghana. We gave him the power. So whatever decision he takes it on behalf of the citizenry.
Yeah.
So it is important we get to know the criteria the president even is going to use to determine who stays, who is promoted, who is demoted, and all that.
Yeah.
But you see, the president gave each person KPI. And as I sit here, I don't know the KPI that was given to, for example, the health minister. So I may be wrong to assume that because the health minister has not been doing media engagements and is not talking out there, he's not performing.
Yeah.
Or this man, we don't hear about him. Let's say there's a minister, I don't want to mention any minister, like there's a minister who is normally quiet. So from the public perspective, you might think, oh, the minister is not working.
Like Gilbert Ajay, the housing minister, for instance.
Yeah, like he's not working. For you may know, if you look at his KPIs,
he's meeting all of them.
The president is so satisfied with his KPIs.
Okay.
So it will be difficult for outsiders to judge as to who is doing what and who is not doing what. Because the president who gave them the KPIs will be in a better position to determine or to ascertain whether they are doing what is right
or not. But you have expectations of them too as well.
Yeah, but you see, we have expectations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that our expectations may be based on what. Of course, certainly have expectations, but on the basis of what? Because if we get to know the KPIs, that is why I would want, for example, that whatever criteria, whatever KPIs that the government gives or the president gives to its appointees, they should be made public. There should be transparency.
Like how Akufo-Addo did when he was appointing his ministers. He made it public. That's kind of
it will make your point.
So that we can also follow through as to the performance of the ministers. Because whatever be the case, these are people we pay with our tax, our taxes.
But what happens?
Are you getting it?
What happens if there's a KPI like you mentioned? We know that there is. If the KPI, the person may be meeting it in a way, but the public perception is also against such a minister. What happens in a situation like this?
But the president cannot, on the basis of public perception, go against what his KPIs
but the person
present.
is
because if the KPIs
public
are such that I expected you to do ABC, you've done the ABC. What is public perception about in this case? Because the public may perceive, may have their own perception that, this as I give you an example, this minister is not performing because he's not talking. Meanwhile, too, he's the one performing the most. I mean, look.
I want to make an example here, and just the Ken Ofori-Atta example. So there were calls that he be reshuffled, he be changed from the finance ministry. How about if?
No,
because of what the public was saying.
No, but they said specific things. They said he was not performing. The economy was down.
Yes,
he was failing.
Based, and it's all based, and it is all based on the public.
No.
How about if Ken Ofori-Atta?
I don't think Ken Ofori-Atta's issue was public perception.
It was reality.
I mean, the economy was sinking.
The city was dead.
For example, now how can I say Atufosin is not performing? Now, how can I say Atufosin is not performing?
Okay.
When inflation has dropped from 23.8% to single digits, how can I say?
You think it should be solely based on the KPIs?
The KPIs, because on what basis will you judge someone? If on what basis? Is it because of the person's media engagement, or the fact that the person dresses well, or the fact that the person speaks good English? It should be the KPIs. And I'm saying that the president sits in a better position to know those who are performing and those who are not performing. And thankfully, he's the one who is going to decide who is promoted, who is demoted, who is retained, and all that. And so I really don't have. But you see, let me tell you this. In any serious country, some of the ministers we've had in this country, they had no business even becoming municipal chief executives.
We're talking about those we have now. Those we have.
I'm talking about we've had in this country.
Okay, but those we have now, are they working enough for you?
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying some of the ministers we've had in this country.
Good. That point has been made. Let's fine tune the conversation. Those we have now, are they working enough for you?
I mean, let me tell you this.
Yes.
Let me tell you. I can only single out one person, Atufosin. And also the energy minister. Maybe I can even go further to also talk about governance, road minister.
Okay.
I mean, for the rest, yes, I really don't follow through the things they do. But Atufosin's old, whether you sleep or whether of course he's better than Baomi and Ofori-Atta put together. Yeah. You see, whether you sleep or you don't sleep, Atufosin will have effect on you. What he does will have effect on you.
Right.
Inflation, exchange rate, interest rate, our debt situation and all that. I mean, these are things that you can't run away from. I mean, and let me tell you, in economics, there are certain things. For example, if you build a road in Accra, okay, the effect will mainly be in Accra. But if inflation drops from 23% to single digits,
everybody feels
it.
Okay.
That is why Atufosin occupies a very important position.
Right.
So I can judge him and say, Atu is forcing. Are you getting it? Because of what he's done.
Okay.
Yes, and the minister for energy too. You know, when you started this issue of doomsday and all that, he was always calm. That guy, I don't know where he gets his calmness from.
no matter how the storm, this guy will be cool and be talking cool, and he say we will solve the problem, and he solved the problem. Now, why is people? I've stopped talking about doom so.
Okay.
And governance. Oh, governance is also doing well. It's almost governance is governing. Yeah, let's put it. Ato is forcing. Governance is governing. The road ministry very well.
Mark, let me come to you now.
So I think I would look at this in the 3 R's. That is retaining or retention.
Or reshuffle.
Reshuffling and then removal.
Yeah.
And in the perspective of good governance, I think that
92.
People who are delivering results and are not noise makers or are unpopular must be made to stay wherever they are. This is a test for His Excellency the President and a test for his appointees. That when one is removed or retained from his or her position, does not necessarily mean that the president doesn't like you, or based on the pressures that is coming from the party people, the president will have to, move you from one place to the other. On the case of removal, you will only be removed when accountability does not meet the required KPIs of the president, or your performance is not really meeting what the president requires from you. And of course, with that, you will definitely be removed. But what I want to say is that the president's performance on whether to review or to remove them is in a very good governance action.
Yes.
For which reason, I would say that he should rather focus on people who are very competent, people who have talent repositioned, because there are others who. Oh, Awad, please. We are on a serious.
I'm not talking to you.
And so that thing you have to stop. No, that thing you have to stop. When you want to laugh and it's
Mark,
not about me, you can laugh within your head.
Mark, go on.
But when you do this, you distort me.
Okay.
When you do this, you distort me. Please.
Mark, go on.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that it should be based on, should be competent based. Those who have also been given the opportunity to serve as how do you call it? CEOs and other things have the opportunity to transform their leadership and their good governance so they can get to other places to serve the good people of Ghana. So for me, in the area of good governance, I think the president must look at all these things that we have mentioned. Of course, we've not seen in this administration any corruption scandal, which is also one of the good things or good signs that the government can boast of. For which reason I'm thinking that he has not done any reshuffle for this period. But you see, it should not be about the people's pressure, especially listening from the MPP and the propaganda that there must be a reshuffle. And in fact, I also saw on social media a couple of days ago that a reshuffle list had come out. And I was like, is this where we reduce our politics to? That when we are talking about governance and good governance, some individuals will sit somewhere, design their own list of appointees and appointees that ought to be reshuffled, and then put it on social media. And when the National Signals Bureau goes after these individuals, we say we are curtailing free speech. I mean, we don't do this. Let's not do this. Do what is right. I am here and I'm speaking. Have someone called for my arrest? No. Why is it that people will go, I'm not on social media. I'm on social media too. But you measure what you post. You measure what you say. You measure what comes out of your mouth.
Okay.
And that determines whether you are good for purpose. But if you go out and do all manner of things without recourse to fundamental laws and you have been arrested, you come and complain. So for me, I mean, it is a good thing, whether reshuffle or no reshuffle, we are expecting that all individuals who have been appointed will give us the good how do you call it, performances that the Ghanaian people are expecting.
And based on your reactions while Ebo and Mark were talking, you disagree with almost everything?
Yes, I think let me just put this on record that the NPP has not churn out any lists. The list you see out there did not emanate from the MPP.
Where did they come from?
And again, the MPP also did not even talk about reshuffle. There is no official within the MPP who has talked about reshuffle. In fact,
no. It's not you. It's not you. Afeni marking on the floor. I spoke about reshuffle. Afeni marking on the floor of Parliament.
Yes.
I'll make your point.
So
yes, the documents did not come from the MPP.
Yes.
Okay.
So the document did not come from the MPP. Now on reshuffle, I agree totally with Ebo for the first time that indeed he has his KPI. You understand? The president has his KPI. It is really his prerogative. He appointed those individuals to these positions without telling the people of this country why he even appointed them. And he is not obliged to tell us why he appointed them. Now, if they are performing or they are not performing, it still rests on him to really see and do an evaluation. That's why the secretary is telling us that they are doing re-evaluation of the ministers, the CEOs, and so on, and look at if there will be some people will be retained, some people will be changed, and so on. So on reshuffle, it is a normal thing that happens within the any span of government. Yeah. So it's really nothing new that someone would say, well, they are calling for reshuffle. Ghanaians have the right to call for reshuffle, especially when they think that these areas the government is not performing.
What do you think?
I believe that looking at his KPI, because he's not also reshuffling anyone, he believes that they are doing the right thing for him. As for me, I'm not calling for any reshuffle. They are messing up.
But if they're messing up, then you should look for a reshuffle. You don't.
Why must I call for a reshuffle? Because he says he has picked the best out of the lots. Yes, he picked the best out of the lots. And if he's to change Atufosin for anyone, who will come and take over from Atufosin?
They are messing up in which area?
Okay, so we're paying 24% on electricity in the last 1 year. Under Akufo-Addo in 2024, cumulatively for the year we paid 6.4. Today we're paying 24% on electricity alone. On water, under Akufo-Addo 2024, we paid 3% cumulative for the year. This time around, we're paying 19% on water. When I'm traveling from here to Kumasi, when fuel was 14 cedis 70 pesos, when I'm traveling from here to Kumasi, I pay 90 cedis for that small buses, the express buses. Today, the express buses is taking us 150 cedis. You understand? The maize farmer in Ejra and the Akufo-Addo was selling the maize at 1,200 and 1,000 cedis. This time around, the maize farmer is saying that he's selling it at 350 cedis. And yes, 350 cedis. But they don't get buyers. The MP for Atebu Buamanti, who is an NDC man, says that because of the importation of maize, over 500,000 tons of maize has been imported in this country. The Ghanaian farmer cannot sell his maize, and the government has designated 200 million to buy the maize. Still, the money has not gone down there. So that person is suffering. Again, when you look at the rice farmers in the Volta region, they are saying that ban importation of rice so that we can sell our rice and so on.
So these are the things that you think are not working, so there's a need for a reshuffle.
There's nothing that is working in this country today.
But you still don't think there's a...
You as a journalist should tell me what is working in this country. We left petrol at 14.7. Today it's 16.99. So what is working? What is working? Diesel, we left it at 14.99. Yes, we left it at 14.99. Today it is 17. I'm telling you what.
It's lying.
You left it at where?
Put it on record. Is lying this morning.
Diesel was 14.99. Petrol 14.7.
Let's put it on record.
Today,
the
petrol is 15.2.
If you say you left it 14.99, you picked
Diesel.
It, yes. You picked it from where?
You picked it from where?
We picked it 4.4. 8 years. Yes, that is 8 years.
I understand.
No, I'm talking about 8 years. That is one. Two is that at that time they said it is worse.
I understand.
You see, the thing is that if that time you're saying that the thing is worse, today we expect to see a reduction
to make it better.
Exactly, to make it better.
I think you're making
exactly. So
apart from the examples that you're making, that may not be very factual.
I am
but
asking what is working in this
core argument is is fair to make.
Yeah,
the core argument.
The economy is working.
Please, I beg you.
The economy is working.
What is working?
The economy is working.
We have recorded our ways in terms of
your boss ran down Ghana's economy.
We have to go, gentlemen. Prince,
5 seconds.
yes.
5 seconds.
Prince, 5 seconds.
5
you
seconds.
Say. Yes.
On the corn and rice issue that
while you talk for the 5 seconds, please don't introduce any name.
No. Please. The press. Oh, please. Can you behave better than Bamian, please? No. Listen, please stop it.